As an Amanda Show, aka Amanda Schoendorf. How are you guys?
Pretty good. What's going on?
Pretty good, pretty good. I know a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions for you today.
Okay.
I'm super excited about it. The
Everyone have your drink?
first most important question. No, even more important than drinks, Amanda. I'm going to have you answer the question that everybody needs to know. What do you rate Ryan? Scale of 1 to 10. Go.
I feel like the total package, right? This is what the running theme has been.
If you want to take his package into account, you're more than welcome to.
He might lose. No, I don't know. A 7. I think 7's good.
7. You're giving him a 7. We heard it here first. Hold on, Amanda. You're not done yet. Now you must rate Frank Zait's scale of 1 to 10. Please go.
You think Ryan's a 7?
I think Ryan's a 7. I think he's falling short.
Oh, Frank. What do you rate, Frank?
No, he goes next.
Frank, 10. 100%.
I'm gonna also give Frank a 6.5.
Oh, you wanted to give Frank a 7, so you wanted to rank them right on point with each other. I'm pretty sure that's what was just happening there.
Yeah.
All right. So Ryan and Frank are about a 6.57 in Amanda's book. All right, Eric, it's your turn. What do you want to rate Ryan?
What I want to rank Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ryan's a 7.5. 100%.
Ryan's a 7.5. All right, I appreciate that. We're working on getting another co-host tonight, which I'm getting some response from one of our all-time favorite interviewees, RJ Boyle, may be coming in as a co-host. Our numbers man, the guy to take it down. So while I work on that, why don't you guys tell us a little bit more of how you were introduced to the league? Who wants to go first? Because I enjoy couple interviews. This one's a little different than the Frank and Lucy interview because I don't think Amanda's going to explain as much to Eric. Eric might do more explaining to Amanda.
Amanda explains things to me all the time.
All the time.
So who wants to lead out? The person that's been with us longest?
I guess I've been in the league the longest. I don't even know when I started playing. I think I started playing in 2000, the end of 2009 into 2010.
Okay.
Scott was still running Park East, if anyone who's watching remembers Scott.
There's definitely some people out there that know Scott. And I know we're going to have a lot of people tuning in, especially...
So I probably started playing in the league like maybe a couple months before you fired him. So whatever time that was.
I never fired him. He stepped down, I believe. I don't think there was a firing situation.
The story is you tell yourself to sleep better at night. And I started playing at Park East because someone I knew. At the time, I was living in Keyport, and someone had saw the sign outside of Park East because they always had like that sandwich board sign that said, poker, Monday nights, seat at the World Series. So I was like, cool. Someone was like, oh, you like playing poker? Why don't you go play there and check it out? So I went on a Monday. I made like the final table the first time I played, and I thought it was a cool environment. It was a fair amount of cool people. Frank Zaitz is actually the first person that came up and talked to me.
He's the first person you ever met in Down to the Felt, right? He was the first representative of our league.
Yeah. Frank was definitely the first guy to say anything to me Down to the Felt. Sorry if I keep looking down. I'm playing a tournament online at the same time.
What site are you playing on right now?
I'm playing on a WSOP.
All right, very interesting. I'm not pushing playing online yet because we will be launching. I wanted to do the launch tonight with you guys, but we have not been sent our links yet. So we will be launching online with a couple of different sites. So if everybody could stave off a few more days if you're not online already, and we'll get you on there. Sorry, go back to it.
Yeah. So and then from there, people invited me to like games at their houses. I became friends with Brian Linden, Amanda Justice, and they had pretty regular games. And then from there, I also Ryan DInella was like pretty early on too. Scott and I always ended up sitting at the same table together, and then I met Alex and Ryan through
Scott
Scott.
DInella is one of my favorite DInellas. Him and Jen.
Yeah, I like to say Jen is my favorite DInella, but Scott runs a.
Yeah, I don't know. Chippy's not so bad either. And then we have a whole bunch of people checking in too. I just want to say hello to everybody that's out there. What's up, Julian? He was the first one in the building. He said he's here for Amanda N.E. Bernie said, hey, Julian, how are you? Nice to see you, Amanda N.E. from Bernie.
Yeah, Julian's actually the one that got me playing on WSOP. He's the one that told me about the tournament.
What a mofo. Tell him to slow it down. What's up, Wink? What's up? Alan DInella is in the building. He said, RJ, LOL. RJ may be our co-host tonight. Uncle Bernie. All right, guys, we actually have a very high attendance for you guys, so let's get back to this story. Leave nothing out. We want to know all about it. Go ahead. Shoot.
So yeah, I started playing at Park East, and then not that long after that, Central Park started. And Park East always used to get like over 100 people pretty regularly. And then Central Park.
Oh, you got laggy on me out of nowhere.
Am I lagging? Oh yeah, I think we froze for a second there.
I think you're back. We are back. That break brought to you by what we're drinking. I am drinking vodka and club. Eric is drinking bourbon. And Amanda is drinking
red wine.
Red Wine by UB40. What's up, Slippy Baby? Just checked in the building as well. And did Scott start playing before Ryan and Alex? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
I'm not.
But they all were for sure playing. I started. I just got Scott first, and then and we used to play a side game of AC Doocy, which got pretty interesting.
Which got intense, super intense.
Oh yeah. I mean, at one point in time, I think we used to play with straws to keep track of our count, so no one would know what we were playing for. But
you guys,
I don't know if you ever played AC Doocy, but you put one card on the left, one card on the right, and essentially you're betting that the next card that's going to come out is going to come out in the middle.
Was that a serious question? You don't know if I've played AC Doocy in my life? I bet on everything. Me and you bet on everything.
Knows every. I don't know how to.
Is that for the crowd?
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of card games. Bridge is not one of them. So anyway, so we used to play AC Doocy, but a lot of times it's a pot game, so you bet pot often if you think you have a good shot of the next card coming up in the middle. So we'd make bets, and eventually the pot got up to at one point in time, I know the pot got to like $800 on just like a random Wednesday night. So, it got pretty interesting. But that's actually how I became pretty good friends with all the DInellas, and then Keith obviously was in the game too.
Because they owed you hundreds and hundreds of dollars from playing AC Doocy, so you had to give them time to pay it back. So you got to talk to them a lot.
We played money on hand. You couldn't run to the ATM, none of that. So you had to come loaded if you wanted to play that game.
So what happened if Frank Zaitz lost a big pot and you didn't have the cash on him? Because I could see Frank doing that.
Well, you couldn't bet more than you had. So you could only bet up to what you had. If the pot was $100 and you only had 50, you could only bet 50. So that was the running rule. Because otherwise it would just get crazy. I mean, if you're letting people go to ATMs, then
you know what? One of the worst bets, the best bet I ever made that turned out the worst for me, was with Eric at we were at a Habana, and Frank Zaitz said, I don't know how we got on the topic, but somebody started talking about cocaine, and Frank was like, "Yeah, I just did cocaine." You're like, "No, you didn't, Frank." So I was like, I negotiated.
However the conversation happened, someone asked if Frank had ever done cocaine in his life, and everyone that knows Frank likes to make up random stuff. Like Frank lies about stuff that like no one cares about. Like he'll be like, I can't go to poker tonight. I gotta go buy new sneakers. And you're like, Frank, you're not gonna go buy new sneakers. He's like, I know, I'm just messing with you. So
that is Frank.
So in my mind, I'm like, his answer was like, yeah, I did coke yesterday. So I was like, no way, I don't believe it. So Tom and I made a bet. I'm pretty sure we bet like something crazy. Like,
No.
I think I bet Frank like $20,000 or something crazy. And
retarded. Yeah, you bet something crazy. It was at least $2,000. At least $2,000. And you were like, 100% you're paying this if you lose. And he was like, oh yeah. And he's like, you're going to pay me if you lose. And he's like, oh yeah. You're like, oh yeah, of course I will. So I was like, you know what? I negotiated getting 10% from each of them. I was like, you give me 10%, I'll go get I'll go pick up the drug test. So then
Tom always the shiesty dude somehow manages to finagle himself a free roll in this situation, right? Because he can't lose. He's getting money no matter what happens to the test, right? Tom gets a cut of either one of us.
Either win, I get a cut. All I had to do was buy the test, right? So I go out and I have to chase down a cocaine test in CVS, which was not as hard as you would think it would be. I come back. It cost me like $40. I come back. I give them the test. He goes to pee in it. What happens? We never get the results. So I'm the only guy that lost in that bet.
Actually, not true. So the test. So Frank went, and we had Juan, who owned one of my good friends, who owned Havana, the bar that we were at the time, and he we made him like the proprietor of that, right? Like, so he was kind of like the guy in charge. He was like, he wasn't involved. So Frank goes, takes the test in the bathroom. It comes back inconclusive. So apparently when a test comes back inconclusive like that, you have to send it out to the lab. So we give it to Juan. Juan mails it out, and they literally never get back to us with the result. So we never found out what happened yet. So Frank is telling me $20,000.
So I'm the only guy that lost in that bet. I'm the only guy free rolling, and I'm the only guy that lost because it cost me $40 and I never got a piece.
It's the guy who tried to free roll us out of this bet ends up paying $40 for a test, and he's the only one that loses money in it.
Karma! What a kick in the ass!
Great.
I thought that was a solid investment.
So after playing at Park East, I became friends with Tom. So at the time, I used to play at the Borgata a lot, and I think this was probably right around February because usually the Winter Open at the Borgata happens in January. So I almost always play deep stack events or a fair amount of, and Tom started running the game at Park East after Scott stepped down.
Central Park. I think it was Central Park is when we had the conversation.
So Tom brings up in conversation, I was talking to somebody at the bar, and Tom was like, "Oh yeah, the Borgata. I heard the bad beat there is supposed to be really high right now." And I was like, "Oh, I know it was up there. I didn't realize." He's like, "Yeah, it's apparently the highest it's ever been at the Borgata." So I said, "Cool. I definitely have to get down there and go play because I haven't been back there since the Winter Open finished." So that's why I think it was Park East because it was on a Monday, and that Thursday. I literally drove down, and I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time and told her that I was going down. It wasn't Amanda, sorry.
Sorry. You haven't always been my girlfriend, Amanda.
I wasn't going to see her that day because I was going to drive down to the Borgata because I wanted to hit that bad beat. So I drive down. The bad beat was at 586,000. So I sit down at 1-2, thinking I'm just going to sit there and try to play a bunch of hands, see if we get lucky or whatever. I'm totally card dead. The game's super boring. So then a pot limit Omaha game starts. So most people that gamble with me outside of the bar league know that I prefer to play pot limit Omaha over Hold'em just because it's a lot more action, more entertaining. So I go and I sit in the pot limit Omaha game, and it's running great, right? I'm doing really well. Eventually, me and two other guys pretty much bust out everybody in the table. So we don't want to play three-handed, so the game breaks. So then I'm like, oh, I cash out my chips. And I'm like, oh, should I leave? And then I'm like, well, I really came down here to try to hit the bad beat, and it still hasn't hit. So I sit down and decide to play 1-2 again. They sit me at the exact same table again. So I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to just be bored out of my mind. And within an hour, the bad beat hits. It was 3 diamonds hit the flop. There's 4 people in the hand. Everybody checks the flop. The turn brings another diamond, so now everyone's afraid that someone has the ace of diamonds and is slow playing. So we all check around again. The river brings the 10 of diamonds, which now makes a straight flush with the king, queen of diamonds and the 7-8 of diamonds, right? 9 jack were on the flop, and the 10 of diamonds hit the river. So one guy fires out 20. Me and this other guy in the hand fold. This other guy raises to 100. The guy that originally bet goes all in. The other guy insta calls. they flip over the hands, and then I just hear the dealer screaming, and she's like, "Oh my God, we hit the bad beat,"
Sick.
and it was crazy, right? So I won 39,000 just for being at the table. The guy that lost the hand with seven, eight of diamonds won. They get 40%, so he won 230,000. And the guy that beat him in the hand with king queen of diamonds won half of that, so he won 115,000. And we won so much because we were short a player, and there was another guy that had left for dinner, and he was gone forever. And I don't know, for everybody that plays cash, like once you sit out enough orbits, they start giving you the missed blind buttons, and then they start giving you absent buttons. So this guy had missed blind buttons, and he had 2 or 3 absent buttons, but there wasn't a list on the board, so nobody asked to have him picked up. So he comes back and realizes that he misses this enormous bad beat, and is like livid, So me and a few other people were like, okay, well, we'll give you something, but he was kind of being a jerk, and had he been a little more cool about it, I think he probably would have made more money. So I had like 500 or 600 in front of me at the time, so I told him he could have all the chips that I had on the table. But I mean, he was like, "Oh, you guys definitely owe me something. I deserve some of this pot. You only hit it because I'm not here." But it wasn't like he went to the bathroom. I mean, the guy was literally gone for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, he's like a typical grinding douche.
And to be honest, like I said, if he would have come to the table and been like, "Man, that really sucks. It sucks that I missed that. It was probably my fault for being stupid and being gone for dinner that long. Whatever." Like, I think everyone would have probably given him like at least $1,000 each. But he came to the table like just trying to be a jerk, to everybody. So it was like, well, why would we give you anything? So I think he probably ended up taking home like 2,500 or like $3,000 at the most. I know the dealer she told me Glenda was the dealer at Borgata.
I remember Glenda, actually.
Yeah, her sister used to be a floor person at Harrah's. I don't know. I haven't seen either one of them in a long time, but I know that her sister was a floor person at Harrah's, and she used to deal at the Borgata. But anyway, I know she made like 14,000, 15,000. I thought she could have probably made a little bit more. I feel like a lot of people just didn't tip as much as they should. I tipped 5. I thought it was
a good amount, yeah.
For I mean, it's money that you don't expect. It's like you found like money on the street, and this person's working and dealt the hand. Like, I think it's only fair, to tip them.
I'm just gonna.
So after that, Tom and I became pretty good friends after that. Because the next time I saw him, I was like, "Hey, by the way, I hit that bad beat, that you told me." I was at the table for it. Pretty crazy.
40 large. You're welcome. That was a good piece of advice. I'm telling you, I think that was a Wednesday night at Central Park, and you went on Thursday the next day, and you popped it, which is sick.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I kept playing in the league because for a while, like CP and Park East were really big. They used to get over 100 people, and kind of like Vibe, the prizes were really good. They used to give away 250 pretty much every week. Each location gave away 250 in gift cards, and then once a month they would give away 500. So it used to draw a big crowd. Like, I remember the biggest crowd I've ever seen at the Bar League was at Central Park. They got over 170 people. We had 13 tables in the back room of Central Park, like kind of where they do football on the big screens and where Mr. East is. We had 10 tables downstairs and 3 tables upstairs, and there were still 40 people waiting to get in the game. Yeah,
really?
It was crazy. That's like the most I've ever seen. And Brian, who was one of my favorite tournament directors, was the guy that used to run that.
Shout out to Brian. Brian Vitalo. He took a lot of shit, and now he is living down in Florida. Hopefully him and Jess are checking in at some point with us up here as well. The couple more people checking in, Lukacs. Alex
Brian was really good at just going with the flow. Like, people as out in the Bar League. Everybody knows that. People freak out over ridiculous things. So he'd be getting screamed at a lot of times by Karen, and he would just take it in stride, go outside, smoke a little something, come back in, and be like totally fine, and keep running the tournament.
Yeah, keep moving forward with it.
I always thought Brian was really good for the bar league. He was just super like even keel. You
He
know,
was. He was one of the good guys. We do miss him. Hope. I mean, he.
which is
I
crazy.
said.
Not something you'd expect from like a Marine that's seen combat. But yeah, Brian was just like,
He's a Marine.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
he was. All right, Amanda. Now it's your turn. Step it up. How were you introduced to the league? Go on.
I had never played before.
I
I
never
think
would
I
have
had,
guessed that.
yeah, I would have known. I think I had the game explained to me once. Um, Zavi had invited me to Amsterdam one Tuesday. There's a picture of this that I took of everyone. It was really terrifying to be there for like the first time having the game explained to me once. But everyone was like super nice. Brian, like I said, it was my first PD. Um, and it was like a true shots up night where everyone was just an absolute mess. I vividly remember meeting Anthony Rivera. I know he was at my table. I remember, he's Anthony. So I specifically remember
Shout out to
that.
Anthony Rivera. He's a first liner now. Who would have guessed that? But go ahead.
Yeah, and it was like Carrie, uh, Jonathan Cruz, Ariel, Eric was there.
Yeah, I was there.
He was there.
Look at that.
um,
Eric was in the building on your first night. Kerry said, "What's up?" Brian was an awesome TD.
yes, he was.
Hey,
And then I met you the second time I was there, and I remember you coming over and be like, "Oh, did you learn how to play premium?" And I'm like, I don't know, do I? And that was my first experience with you.
that was
Um,
the introduction.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I do think we've gotten a lot more women playing in the bar
mhm.
league. Like the number of women that play in the bar league has grown, which I think is really good for the
Yeah, I
league.
do. I think that's a good thing for the league. Hopefully, that keeps turning up, and we keep getting more and more female players in it.
That's what that's what
They
everyone keeps hoping for. So like everybody remembers, like in 2004, the big poker boom was caused by Moneymaker. Because he was a regular accountant who won his satellite online. Won his way to the World Series and ended up winning the whole thing and won millions. So like what they expect the next poker boom to be would be for a female to win the main event of the series.
So we need one of
That
you
would
ladies out there to step it up and hit it. Either you, Amanda, Lucy. One of our females has to take charge and go the distance now in this. What's up, Ron Sortino? How are you, sir? Karen Panza's checking in the building. Carrie Panza's in the building. Snooky's in the building. We're getting a pretty full house now, and they're already trying to ask you some of your questions.
You guys had like an all-female final table recently, right?
All feet second to the final table. We had all female, so we were
Oh,
missed the final table with all females. We were hoping all the guys were going to get knocked out, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. We are gaining more and more. We do have a lot of couples. A lot of couples in the league.
we do.
I didn't even.
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
even. I was on another screen. I didn't even notice Eric disappeared. Would he go get more drinks?
I think he went to the bathroom, but
Oh,
I
this
moved our
guy.
work schedule and come back on Tuesdays, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh,
Well,
nice. Very
yeah.
nice. As long as I think we got about at least 30 more days before we return to our live poker events, which is sad. How are you guys doing in the quarantine? What's been going on with you? Is everybody safe? Is everybody's family safe?
I mean, both our families are safe. Nothing really changed me other than working from home from my main job. I'm still going in my second job, so I'm still going out. So it doesn't. I'm not quite as stir crazy as any other people. Um, but
What
for the most part,
tell us what those jobs are. What is your second job?
well, my main job, I'm a care manager, so like a caseworker.
work.
I work at night. That's the second one. We'll get there. And I do case management and coordination of mental health services for children and families in Union County. And then at night, I have been my first job at mental health was working at a women's halfway house, Morristown, for substance abuse. And I have been working there since. So now that I'm not there full time, I work there overnight, which is what I did.
So now you're still there at night. You're still going in at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're a state-sponsored program, so it's not like we can. Because a lot of girls there are mandated to be there by the court, and we need to have. If it doesn't matter if a hurricane, snowstorm, illness, like you have to have at least one staff.
So if I get coronavirus,
Right.
you know where it starts.
You know where it came from.
There's no question.
I mean, but right now they're all locked down. They had to go on leave from their jobs to help spread the virus as of last week. But all the staff is still coming in. So
What? To help spread the virus as of last week? What are you talking about?
just stop the spread. Did I say
Oh, to
start?
stop. Yeah, you said to start the spread. I was like, I don't know who you're working for.
So just stop the spread.
Oh man. So
Yeah.
My friend Josh is apparently watching this from North Carolina. He was on the chat.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Josh? You want to shout out to Josh? Amanda Justice checked in. She said, "Hey, my best friend," and hi, Amanda. Keep,
Ties into the religious theme that you guys had on your last
who is that?
My friend Josh, he went to school for theology. He ties into your religious theme that you had for your last speaker.
Oh, did he tune into the previous one? Did he get into the previous one?
He didn't. He's not a poker player.
Tell him to sign on because that wasn't as poker oriented as it was political and religious, which was interesting. Dirt props on your profile, loving it. Says Joshua Ortiz. Oh, that's him. That's him. Glenn Clark said shots up. He's in the building as well.
What's up, Glenn? Here's buddy.
The Tim said is Eric puking already? And what's up, my friend?
I'm only one glass of bourbon in. So
I think we're gonna go pretty far in this one because me and you have been known to drink together on an occasion or two. We've been in Vegas.
Most of the bottle to go of bourbon. So.
All right, I think we're gonna have to make this happen. I don't know if you tuned in one of the other nights.
I don't. Amanda will attest to you. Like I don't really drink at home very much. Yeah, it's just not I've always been like more of a social drinker.
Me too.
I knock them back like when we're out, but like at home it's rare that I have a drink. But like I found me and my friends, actually the guy that got me into poker, he and I used to play spades all the time together. So we found an app where a few of us can play spades on, and it has video too. So it's pretty cool because I get to talk. He lives in South Carolina. One of my other friends lives in New York, so I don't really get to see them that often. So yeah, it was a pretty cool way to play. But I was drinking when I was playing with them.
You guys like video chat, right?
Yeah, you can video chat.
We're gonna try and go hard tonight because I don't know if you tuned in the other night. We did a tournament directors one, and we actually made Soma pass out on the stream.
Passed out because that's actually the day after. I only watched the bit, but I just saw the picture of him conscious on the sofa.
Yeah, just turn into this. It started that he was like, Tom, when am I gonna outdrink you? When do you want to make this happen? I'm like, oh, we could do this tonight. It's okay. And you know what's funny is I only drink on stream. Just like I only drink when I'm working, I only drink on stream, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy. Don't get me wrong. I used to go out and drink too.
Tom's an interesting guy to drink with socially because he either like has a really high tolerance or has a really low tolerance for a guy his size.
I don't get it.
And he's a caveman when he's drunk. He just like he's too big of a guy and he's just like running through people at like a bar or a club.
Vegas, all through Vegas. I've had some horrible.
It's crazy.
I just love the cookie theory of when you have to get sick, eat cookies.
Oh yeah,
that's
so
right.
let's. I don't think the general masses know my secret, and I actually had this conversation the other night because I got kind of banged up with my wife. So I used to keep a box of cookies, like a stash box. I don't eat cookies, but I used to keep a box of cookies because when you get drunk, I'll tell you how I know this. One time I'm out, we're drinking. We went really, really hard for a friend's wedding, and then we were going on a deep sea fishing trip the next day. So we go to the deep sea fishing trip, and and I'm hung over so bad, I'm just throwing up every 3.5 seconds. This boat rocks, I yak. So now, when you're throwing up and you're like dry heaving with nothing to come up a bile, it's horrible, horrible. So I was like, do me a favor, give me one of those cookies over there. I want to throw it up because it's better. So my friend AJ, I remember this vividly. He's like, I'm not giving you any of these delicious cookies to throw up into the water. He's like, what a waste of a cookie is that? I said, I swear to God, AJ, I will shit in your shoe as soon as we get back to the cabins. And only in one of each of your shoes. I'm going to shit in one shoe of each of your shoes. So finally, the captain looks over, he sees me dry heaving. He's like, somebody should give him one of those cookies. So AJ brings it over. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I eat the cookie, and if you don't know this already, if you eat a cookie when you're hungover and you throw it up, it's like you're making cookie dough. It tastes delicious. It tastes like you're eating cookie dough straight out of the packet. But it's, but it's coming in reverse. Best thing I've ever eaten.
It really does work.
Yeah, swear to God. What's the best thing you've ever had after when you're throwing up? Have you thrown up, Amanda, after drinking?
I think that it can ruin it. But like because sometimes if you ever got like food poisoning or something, you're like, oh, this is gonna ruin it for me. No, it doesn't. It just sort of like makes it a little better.
Makes it better. Cookies are followed by lo mein to me. I love the taste of lo mein going down or going out. Either way, it's delicious.
I definitely don't remember the best thing I've thrown up. I remember the worst thing I've thrown up, but not the best.
Empanadas.
Empanadas are your worst?
That was no worse.
No, my worst for sure is Black House. Like
licorice.
Put it this way: they serve Black House chilled for a reason. And when you've had too much of it and it wants to come up, it's a pretty terrible experience.
And when it's warm to body temperature from your stomach?
It's warm and it's like molasses, like it's thick. So it doesn't want to like come out, and you're just suffering. It's painful. The one of the drunkest times one of the drunkest experiences I've ever had is I had 6 shots of Black House and 5 LITs in 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
It was before I was 21, and we were drinking at a place where my buddy Melvin used to bounce at a lot of places in New York. So I used to get to go drink at a lot of places before I was even 21 without an ID or anything, because he just knew people at the door. So, and this wasn't even at like a club. This was at like just a regular bar at a restaurant. And the guy was like, well, I'm only here for another 45 minutes. So we're like, all right, I guess we got to drink up. And I had 6 shots of Black House and 5. I don't know if you remember like the ultimate glasses, like the ones that Fridays have, like the big round, almost fishbowl looking glasses.
Oh, yeah, of course.
6 shots of Black House in 45 minutes. And, you know, when you're drinking, everything's fine, right? Like you're just knocking them back, you're talking, laughing, no problem. The second you stand up is like, holy shit. And then when you go outside, it's even worse because now fresh air hits you and then you're gone.
Changes the game.
I literally don't remember like parts of the night. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But
the next day,
yeah, the next day was rough. The next day, trying to get rid of that Black House was not fun. If I remember right, it took like 6 hours of just back and forth running to puke. And then I probably didn't feel good until like the next day. It just was the worst. Yeah. Since then, I don't really drink Black House much anymore.
Amanda said, Eric, do you remember when you threw up all over my street and then had to sleep on my floor? Remember that?
Probably. Was that like a New Year's? If that was a New Year's, then maybe.
Carrie said Black House was her shit back in the day.
Black House our first drinks, which I think is super weird.
It's a weird drink.
Josh is definitely better going down. Bernie said he loves Black House. We have a lot of people checking in. They already want us to start getting into the questions. I don't know if you saw Frank and Lucy's, but we played a little newlyweds style game.
We thought about prepping for it, but I was like,
prepping for it. Don't cheat. If we're gonna play the game, we're gonna send one inside, and we're gonna ask some of the best questions. We want the crowd decide.
Weirdos.
They already asked me if you like to do it regular style.
Sketchy ass questions from the bar league as a whole in this.
What's the craziest question you've ever been asked?
I don't know. Oh, that's a weird one. I don't know if I remember.
Craziest question we've been asked, like together.
Wow, that boomed. That came booming through, but
I don't really asked me.
No, they were just nosy when we first started going out. Everyone was very nosy.
All right, so when we first started going out, we were like, okay, well, you know, bar league people tend to be really nosy. So, like, you know, but in general, like, I tend to be a fairly private guy, so I don't really talk a lot about, you know, and so we didn't really tell anybody. And to be honest, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal because not for nothing, like, why does anybody care, right? But apparently, like...
people care. They care.
Like, hey, are you and Amanda? What's up with you and Amanda? You and Amanda? I heard about Eric and Amanda. You heard about Eric and Amanda? And then...
even before it was an actual thing.
Yeah. And then I think Keith caught us like making out or something at the parking lot of CP, and then after that was it. It was like cat's out of the bag.
And that was the wrap.
Yeah.
Keith is the one that blew up your spot. Now we know.
100%.
I'm trying.
We knew something came around, but.
I hold on. I'm trying to read what everybody's saying. I totally knew on I totally knew they were lying. Triad. Rob Alberti said, when is the
totally knew they were
engagement
lying.
coming?
Carrie wrote it totally.
Yes, Carrie was definitely one who was like onto it. She came up to me at the bar and she's like, I don't know if something's going on with you and Eric, but if it is, I'm really happy for you and I think it's great. I'm like, okay.
Oh, see that? Spreading love.
Yeah.
Spreading love. It's bringing people together. That's what it's doing. Your love
Mm-hmm.
is contagious. Did
Yep.
when did you tell Frank and break it off with him, Amanda, before you got together with Eric? How long in between the two were there?
I don't think we ever made an announcement. I think we just sort of waited until Frank figured it out.
This is more like a brother husband situation, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, we just sort of, eased out of it. We never got Taco Tuesday, and that's probably my life's regret.
You
That's
never
true.
did get to have your Taco Tuesday. What's up, Mr. Gazington?
So before Amanda and I started going out, we were at RTD one time, and I forgot how the conversation went, but at some point in time, I called Amanda's bluff that she was willing to go out for a Taco Tuesday with Frank randomly, and then started. Yeah, I started the Facebook Messenger chat to try to get that to
He
happen.
was like, Frank, Amanda wants to go have Taco Tuesday with you. And Frank, of course, was like, oh, really? And then he starts texting me or messaging me, whatever it was, about...
Where would you go for your Taco Tuesday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where were you heading for your Taco Tuesday?
Oh, I think we talked about Central Park. I think we talked about...
Over Jose Tejas?
Jose Tejas, yeah.
Terrible tacos. Why would you go to Central?
I think they had like taco special. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know why you would go there for that?
I don't know.
Very interesting.
So we still have to get back to Frank and Lucy double date.
Frank and Lucy double date.
I don't know if people know this, but the most time I've ever been in Vegas was when Tom was there. So I originally was going to Vegas to go play in the World Series of Poker events for a week. And then Tom messages me, is like, hey, next week, like, I'm going to be there for a bachelor party. You should just stay. So I just stayed in Vegas for like 2 weeks. It was pretty crazy.
Wasn't it a lot of fun?
I knew no one but Tom at the bachelor party, and Vinny. Well, I did know Vinny too. But, but it was pretty interesting. It was the most time I've ever been out there for.
Tell me you didn't have a good time. I feel like we had a really crazy time in Vegas.
Yeah. So the first week, all I did was play poker, right? So I would get up, go and play in a tournament. If I busted out of the tournament, then I would sit and play cash. There were a lot of good PLO games. I did horrible in the tournaments, but I did great in the cash games. It was also the most money I think I've ever taken with me in one time. I had 12 grand on me, and so I was making back like whatever I lost in tournaments entries in cash games. And then the second week when Tom got there, like I only gambled like after I'd been drinking for like several hours.
Yeah, when we were wasted.
All we did was party. Yeah, that was also a really good drunk story. So we go to the pool party at MGM. I think that one's Liquid, right?
Wet Republic.
Sorry, yeah. So Wet Republic. Well, apparently some DJ is playing that's like well known, and the line is like out the door. So we were like taking our time. Like I guess we didn't really think it through and just assumed we'd probably get in or whatever. So we're sitting, we're having breakfast. We end up like talking to this group of girls that were sitting next to us or whatever. We eventually get online, and the line is like ridiculous. Like there has to be like 200 people in front of us. So Tom just goes, all right, just wait a minute, I'll be back. And just goes and talks to the security and the bouncers that are checking everybody in. And then like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, he comes back and he's like, all right, guys, come with me. We're going inside. And we got to skip we got to skip the line, right? So we go in and
No.
I guess
The best part of that is that we're talking to the same girls that were in the group that we had breakfast with, were online with us. And they're like, do we bring the girls with us? I'm like, no, leave them here. I have another group of girls inside at the table already.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
so we go inside, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of messed up that we like just left these girls out there, but whatever. We go inside, and I guess there was a group of girls that him and some of the other guys knew from Staten Island, and they had a table right next to the DJ, right? So we go there, and it was kind of weird at first because like most people didn't know each other. So I'm like, cool, what's a good icebreaker? I'm just gonna start ordering shots of Patron until everybody's having a good time. So I just
Patron was a
start
good
ordering.
icebreaker.
So I just start ordering rounds of Patron, and then I get so drunk that like after Wet Republic's done, we go and hang out. Everybody goes and hangs out at one of the hotel rooms that the girls were staying at there at MGM. I like totally throw up in their bathroom, and then just stumble out of the room drunk. I don't think I say anything to anyone. I was trying to make it back to my hotel. I was staying at Harrah's, and I don't even make it down to the lobby. I like pass out. Like there's always those weird sofa chairs by the elevators in a lot of casinos. I just fall asleep on one of those chairs and don't even make it into the elevator. Throw up in like one of the waste baskets in the hallway. Gary ends up finding me and is like, "Hey, are you all right? We're all leaving now." He's like, "You want to come with us?" I was like, "We're at the Flamingo and the Harris is right next door, so we'll help you get over there." And then I wake up. And I like get back to the hotel, pass out. I wake up. It's like midnight, and I literally have a hangover at midnight. And then Tom's texting me that like we're gonna go to the club at the Wynn.
Yeah, it's
And
nonstop.
so
There's no sleeping.
I ended up putting myself together with a hangover. Yeah, 12 o'clock at night, and we end up going to go party at the Wynn. Yeah,
That was a good
it was
Vegas trip.
it was a very good trip.
I think the only thing I ate. No, we ate twice. We ate at that steakhouse. That was really good.
We ate the first night that we were there because Doug hit that slot.
Yeah.
So the guy that
my
the Bachelor decides that he wants to start playing like $100 spin slots. Like I've literally met this guy for maybe 7 minutes, and he's like, "Let's go spin slots for $100 a pull." Right?
Yeah. He's a good time. Shout out to DH Doug.
Yeah. So him and Tom go in on this slot, right? And immediately his first pull, like he wins like $1,500, and then he's like, "Oh, we got to do it one more time." So they spin again and win like another like 800, $900, and then Doug is like, "All right, cool, seafood buffet on me." So we're at the spot. Take us to the seafood buffet, and we eat there, and then his bachelor party dinner that was like at Delmonico Steakhouse. It was like I think the only times I remember like having food.
I think that was it for the entire trip. It was just a lot of liquid lunches.
Yeah, everything else was just drinking and gambling. And Doug was amazing. I've never seen somebody gamble just carelessly like that in my whole life. He was
no regard. He's a great guy. I could tell you a quick story about him. So when we were doing that slot machine, he's like, "Look," and he hit it. He put the first 100 and he hits it. He's like, "Look, partner, look what we did. We won." So I was like, "Good." We cashed it out. I was like, "I'll put another 100 and we'll go another 200 and we'll go again. If we miss it, we play." Boom, we hit it again. Another couple hundred in. So he's like, "All right, let's buy everybody dinner and then we'll go gamble some more." So then we do that. But then on the flip side of that coin, we were in when we did the steakhouse. He goes outside and just starts burning money at a blackjack table, burning it off. He's like, "Partner, we're down 500 each. Give me 500. So we went for another 500. So he misses. So he's like, "Hold on, I'm going to go to the ATM." So now I lose another 500 while I'm waiting for him at the ATM. I'm like, "Doug, you owe me 250. I lost 500 while you were gone." He's like, "I wasn't here for that. That doesn't count." Sick. Well, whatever. He is a great man. One of my very, very close friends. But we got a ton of questions pouring in for you guys. Everybody's dying to know, do you like to do it regular style? Who is the down to the fell person? It's not even after dark yet, guys.
Canadiansexacts.org.
Canadian, strictly Canadian style. I'm trying to read everything that's coming through.
Okay, my wine.
What happened? Say it again. Let me see. All right, so tell us more about when When did you guys end up getting together? Because it really was a little bit. We didn't see it happening. We just saw it happen. If that makes any sense.
Have our first date, so.
Yeah, so Tom was at our first date for sure.
Was I?
So yeah, you
Wes's
were.
birthday.
It was Wes's birthday. It was actually the first time we went out
What?
together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Amanda and I figured out. I think fairly early. Like I didn't know what to think about Amanda.
I buttered him up.
Yeah, she said she buttered me up. But after a while, like I think I even told like Brian Linden at one point in time when we worked an event in Staten Island. It was like that like Roaring '50s event. Remember? I don't know if you remember. You dealt blackjack. But anyway, I ended up saying I was like, oh, me and Amanda we just happen to get along like really well. Like we're like just two peas in a pod, you know. And so I had asked her originally to come to St. Patrick's Day that we were going out for. I think in like either Tom's River or Belmar. I don't remember which one.
Tom's River.
Yeah. And
but I was in North Carolina with my brother.
But yeah, so she was visiting family, so I didn't get to see her. And then Wes, whose birthday is like literally 2 days before mine, was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the Gansevoort on Park for my birthday. Why don't you come?" So I invited Amanda, and then and so I was like, "Oh, is like you want to come to Wes's birthday?" I'm like, "It should be a good time. Tom and Lauren are gonna go." Da da da. You know, thinking like it's obviously always easier to hang out with somebody new in like a group setting, right? Like you definitely have an icebreaker in case you don't have much to talk about. And even though we knew each other from the bar league, like you never know, right? So
Yeah,
like,
you don't know if there's gonna be chemistry or not.
I mean, if shit goes bad, there's a bunch of other people there that I know, so everything will be okay, right? So that's my plan.
Eric's leaving out that he just stopped talking to me the month before because I didn't invite him
Oh,
to
that's
my
right.
birthday.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So Amanda apparently decided not to invite me to her birthday in April. She went to the laundromat in Morristown.
I know. I was there. She invited. We were all there.
Apparently everybody was like Alex Medina. Everybody's invited except for me. I was the only one who didn't get to go.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Hold up. I got breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Frank says he really did do coke that day. That's from Lucy.
Frank, you could have won. You could have won $20,000, bro. All you had to do was pass that test. That's it. You know, I would have paid you.
You heard it here first.
It might have been like $1 a week, but I would have paid you. You know.
Yeah, that's it. As long as there's a try for the reparation, you're fine.
So I wanted to invite him to my birthday, but I had like a bunch of people that he would know, and it had my family. And if you don't know, I have 4 brothers. So I wanted to like avoid an awkward situation for me and for him. So
the story goes.
I tried to. Well, what happened was I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna invite other people and make this super casual and be like, hey, come, Lala's coming. So this was like a week and a half out maybe, and I happened to be at a table with Alex Medina, and I was like, oh, Alex, like, what are you doing? Like, do you want to come out for my birthday? Blah blah blah. And he wasn't going. He couldn't go or whatever. So I was like, well, shit. So, I didn't have anything.
So invite Eric. Just fuck him. Right, Alex not going. Fuck Eric. You can't go either.
Just Alex Medina was the only option there. I don't know. I panicked and I didn't end up inviting Eric. So then, like a week or two later, Alex brought it up, and Eric found out that I invited Alex Medina and not him and I hadn't invited him because I didn't know who he would like be able to mingle with and hang out with. And Eric literally did not talk to me, wouldn't look at me, wouldn't speak to me for like a good month.
I thought it was super rude that I invited her to come hang out at St. Patrick's Day, right? And that I always talked to her in the bar league, and that she invited other people that play in the bar league, but didn't invite me to her birthday. I was like, what the shit is that, right? It's very insulting.
No, I was like, I wanted like someone to be there that you would know, it wouldn't be awkward, and he was not having it.
Yeah, I was very upset. So I didn't talk to him for a while. That's how I deal with problems. I just talk to people.
You just shut down.
We were sitting at the bar, like when we like first started like talking. We were sitting at the bar, and I do what I do, and that's just ask people personal questions and assume they're going to answer me, and he did. And that went on for a while, and then so I eventually wore him down.
Yeah.
He
So
talked to me again.
I asked her to go. I was like, hey, we're gonna go out for Wes's birthday.
Yeah.
And at first she was like, oh, I don't know if I can go. I don't know if I have anything to wear. So I'm like, man, is this really just blowing me off? Right? That's what I thought. 100%. Right?
Up again, so I'm like, are we going?
That's like I can't go out tonight. I have to wash my hair. Right? That's about that kind of excuse. So I was like, I didn't know if she was blowing me off. And then she was like, oh. Then eventually she messaged me. She's like, so where's Wes's birthday? Like, is it going to be like a formal place? Like what type of place? And I, told her where it was. But so when we went out at Gansevoort for Wes's birthday, that was the first time. That was literally the first time she and I had gone out.
Wes and Melba.
Yeah, that was the first time we'd ever gone out.
That's funny. Small world. Small world. I didn't know. I did not know that was the first time. I felt some chemistry, and Carrie said DCTF makes love connections. Thank you. I think we do. I think we do. We're almost an hour in, so in 10 more minutes, we are going to shut down the Facebook feed of this. So if anybody wants to see the Down to the Felt after hours when all the questions get asked, that will strictly be on the YouTube stream. Make sure you subscribe. And then remember, we don't keep after hours material. It gets edited out the next day. It's all gone.
Really?
Yeah,
because some of it. I think that Lucy said that I owe her money because of Frank's. My boyfriend, all he had to do was pass that test.
That's hilarious.
I would have paid him.
I know he could have made $20,000, and I could have made $2,000. Jeez, Frank, why didn't you pee right?
I'll tell you one of my favorite Frank Zate stories, and he always brings it up anyway. So I'm sure some people have heard it, but Bar A that we used to have Monday Night Pokers at South Jersey, they used to have. I mean, maybe they still have. I haven't been there in forever. But they had like these VIP happy hours, right? And it used to sometimes be the prize for winning poker on Monday.
At Bar A, yeah.
At Bar A. I don't remember how Alicia won it, but she got a VIP happy hour, right? That she invited us to. So during that happy hour, all well drinks are $1, right? For you and whoever's in your group, right? You get bracelets and you just drink for $1 for an hour straight, so long as you're willing to drink well drinks. Right. So Frank is like, hey, do you want to ride up together? Because he and I, we live further north than a lot of the other people that were going. So I meet him at Cheesequake rest stop, and he drives down with me, which is cool, whatever. So we go to Bar A. We're running a little late, so we're like, oh shit, we got to catch up, right? We only have X number of time, so we start pounding drinks, right? We're just knocking back shots left and right. So then the happy hour is over, and everyone's like, oh, let's go to Porta in Asbury and keep hanging out. And I don't remember if I think Alicia might have done this for her birthday. I think that's what it was. And so we go to Porta. So now we've been knocking back like well shots for at least like 30 minutes straight. We get to Porta, and Frank Zates, who I have never seen order anything other than a beer at the bar, and like green tea shots. All of a sudden, he's like, "I'll have an LIT."
LITs. I was there for this. Go ahead.
Drinking LITs after we've been drinking well shots forever, right?
Oh my god.
So he gets annihilated, right? We're at Porta for a while, and we're like, and then Brian and Alicia live back in Belmar, so they're like, "Oh, let's go have a few more drinks at Bar A because it's close to their house, and then we'll call it a night." So we go back to Bar A, and Frank can't even sit on a bar stool. This is how drunk he is, right? He's got like his head down in the bar. He's like wobbling. He's wobbling on the stool. Like he looks like he's totally going to fall over. So come close to the end of the night, we're like, yo, Frank, you can't drive yourself home. I'm like, I'll just take you home, and then you'll have to go get your car the next day. And he refuses to give up his keys, right? He's like one of those people. Amanda will tell you because Amanda's also one of the people that refuses to give up their keys.
I hate that. Just give up your keys. What are you doing?
I'm not. In fact, the drunkest I ever got at a TOC was after I lost that bet with you, which I guess we can talk about afterwards. But Sloan came up to me and was like, Eric, give me your keys. We're driving you home. And I just said, okay. And just handed him over.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, so I probably wouldn't say no to him anyway. But yeah, I just use his hand over my keys. So anyway, so we have to then figure out a way to steal Frank's keys and his phone from him, because not only do we need his car keys, we also need to know where the fuck he lives to be able to take him home, right? So, but thankfully he's really hammered and puts his shit down at the bar. So Brian takes his keys and takes his phone, and then we look up like an address in Sayreville because we're pretty sure that's where he lives, right? We literally go through his GPS and look up an address in Sayreville, and I flat out tell him, I said, "Hey, we have your keys and your phone. I'm taking you to this address." So you either need to tell me that I need to take you somewhere else where you live, because I'm not taking you back to your car, but this is where I'm taking you, right? So Frank argues for a while, eventually he relents and gets in my car, right? So now I'm driving down the parkway with drunk-ass Frank in the passenger seat, and he's still complaining here and there. Half of the time he's like passing out, nodding out. And at one point in time, he starts getting upset. He's like, I need my car keys. He's like, I'm not leaving my car at Cheesequake. And he starts yelling, Frank, you got to calm the fuck down. And then he grabs the steering wheel, right? He literally leans over on the passenger seat and grabs the steering wheel and tries to pull it. So then I like smack his hand away and literally have to be like, Frank, I swear to God, I will knock you the fuck out if you try to touch the steering wheel one more time. And I will drop you off on your doorstep unconscious if you come anywhere near the steering wheel again. And he was like, oh, okay. And then just passes out. And then I just drive to whatever address he gave me and really just let him out there. But yeah, Frank almost killed
And
me on the car.
did he get in the house? Did you wait for him to get in the house? Was it his house?
I waited for him to walk up to the porch, and then I decided to leave. I was pretty upset for a while, yeah. Because I mean, he literally could have just like ran us off the road. Like, really did just like straight up just try to grab the steering.
He could have. He could have. He gets a little aggressive when he's drunk.
Yeah, that's one of my craziest Dr. Zate stories.
Dr. Zate's has some good stories.
I was the person that first called him Dr. Zate for the first time.
Yeah, I think you gave him I think you were the one that actually made him an MD.
I gave him that nickname in a cash game that we were playing at Brian Alicia's.
That is the truth. All right, so we're at 57 and a half minutes. So I'm going to tell everybody now I'm shutting down the stream across Facebook, and then you have to join us on the stream on YouTube. So come to Down to the Felt on YouTube. Now it's going to get real. We're going to hear the questions that everybody wants to really ask. People have been asking a ton of crazy questions. Amanda, you going to answer honestly?
Yes.
No.
Eric's not.
Eric's going to plead the fifth?
Yeah.
Let's take some shots. You guys want to take some shots?
Okay.
I've literally been drinking since this podcast started.
Yeah, me too. But Amanda's sipping on Cabernet over there.
Wine.
We have shooters. Hang on. I'll take a shot. Hang on.
You make some shooters. What type? We don't want too much juice in the shooters.
No, let's just do a shooter.
All right, I'm gonna get some too. I'll make sure that I have some as well.
You know what I still have? You know what I still have shooters of is the weird like the random drinks they had in Iceland, like the
the birch tree one.
And they're like weird ass stuff that they drank when we were in Iceland. Tom and I, Lauren, and Greggy all went to Iceland together.
That was a dope trip too. We've done a bunch of travel together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was funny because it was a country that I probably wouldn't go to. And I had a friend that used to work for an international accounting firm, and she was going there for work with another one of my buddies, and they had invited me to go, and I couldn't make it at the time because of work. And then Tom had brought it up because there's like, oh, Lauren wants to see the Northern Lights, and Iceland's a really good place to stay. I was like, well, I'm not going to pass up going to Iceland twice. And then Greggy was going, so I was like, oh, that's it, I'm in. And I literally booked my trip in like 2 weeks before they were going.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a super fun trip. It was really cool.
You guys should have came to Norway, man, before the Corona hit. We just got those lights in.
They look awesome. Dude.
They're live streaming it now.
We were literally on vacation for like almost a month, like before that.
I know. Lauren Lauren was mad when she texted Eric to say, "Hey, what's up with coming on this vacation with us?" And he didn't answer. He's like, "Did he just ghost me about coming to Norway?"
You did?
I know. We were in Costa Rica.
I didn't know about it, Lauren.
My phone didn't work half the time.
Amanda said she's sorry. She didn't know that.
You lost Wi-Fi in the hotel.
We were in, yeah.
No worries, no worries. All right, I got my bottle of Tito's. We're about to go to down to the Feld after dark. We're turning down. The Facebook stream is going on live. So remember, tell your family members not to follow it, because now the questions get real. Hold on, I got to pour my drink first. I'm turning this off. And now, let me open up this up. And remember, none of this gets saved. So that's a perfect shot, because that's going to be the end shot of pouring. This thing has a little line. It tells you where 1.5 ounces is. That's sick, right? This glass. There we go. All right.
All right.
Hold on. Let's make sure everybody's in the building. What's up, Glenn? Shots up. We're all doing this. Everybody out there, make sure you take a shot with us. Let's make sure everybody does this. What do you want to make this one go out to?
Isn't it Lauren's birthday?
Lauren's birthday is on Saturday. We will be having a virtual party possibly on here. I'll let you know.
To Lauren. We'll
Here's
see Lauren.
To Lauren. Happy birthday, Lauren. Oh, that feels like a much heavier shot than I'm used to.
And happy belated shorty, right?
Happy belated shorty. Shots up, Glenn. What is everybody in the crowd drinking with us now that we're starting? Jose, that is untrue. He said that I did no shots with him yesterday, but he's lying. I did a bunch of shots with him yesterday. I just wasn't on camera the whole time. He said Northern Lights, that smokes good. I heard that. What was the most shady, Frankie? I keep forgetting who Dragon Pack is. Damn, G. Ruff, blah, blah, blah. Lauren Banner said she loves you guys. And now we're going to start asking the questions. So if anybody has any crazy questions out there for them, let us know. Give us the MFKs, who you think they want. All right, we're going to start you with some of the questions that we gave Lucy and Frank.
Okay.
You get to pick one female and one male from Down to the Felt to join you in your relationship one time for your birthday. Go ahead, Amanda.
Spicy.
Oh, I think Amanda Justice has to join us for sure.
Wait, who?
Amanda Justice.
Amanda Justice is the female you choose from Down to the Felt. Shout out.
So I'm picking
Yes.
100%. 100%. That's not even a question.
Wow, she was picked real quick. And then who is your guy that you get to choose from Down to the Felt?
Frank Zates, bro. 100%.
You don't want Frank Zates in there.
He's dropping the hammer, bro.
Like this, my friend. I can't even get it all on my camera.
I heard. Like a baby's arm.
Baby's arm holding an apple, Eric. You don't want it. You don't want it. Let's see what the crowd starts asking. We're going to let them start talking. We have Glenn drinking a Yingling Black and Tan. That's his usual lately. Jack for Lukács.
What's up, Glenn? Like I haven't seen Glenn in forever.
Yep, Lukács. What's up? Gaslington, what are you drinking out there? Alex wants to know where RJ is and why didn't you pick him? That was a good question.
That's
and Big Lou Gazzo says hello as well. Everybody's tuning in and crossing over from the other one.
Who's another guy I haven't seen forever?
I know. Fish is checking in. What's up, Fish? He said, how's the DTTF family? We all need to be safe. We're trying. Let's see. Look, give us your questions. Where's Keith? Where's Rob Alberti? I know he has some crazy questions that he wants to get in. Frank Zates. Ask him if you want.
If he can get in. If he can get in on that group.
Right? Frank was like, all right, I'll let you choose a list. Let's see.
I think it's pretty funny. I've literally never commented on any of the crazy stuff he's ever posted. And I did like one of the like last few times, and he was like, "Why are you being so mean to me?" I was like, I literally never say anything, and I I just said something as a joke, and I guess he took it personally.
Oh yeah, he took it real personally. I guess that's why he didn't want to come in as my co-host.
Funny, but I guess not.
fell short of funny. It's okay. We're not so mad at it. I'm just trying to take a look. We have a crazy Alan and Manny are loving putting up like mathematics questions in the group chats.
I like that.
I do like the math. Alan always poses those
good.
like math puzzles.
You're big on the math.
Is it because you're a numbers guy?
Yeah. So one of Amanda's friends came to one time when we played at what I used to call the dungeon, which was that weird ass like side room at that Newark airport restaurant diner.
Yeah. That
Like
was Coates' game.
Wyndham Gardens, that's right. I used to call that place a dungeon because there was literally no music, no windows, no TVs, anything in the room in the room that we played at. In fact, we got so bored one time when we all got knocked out, we started throwing cards into a hat for money because we had nothing else to do. We
There was some
literally couldn't
crazy gamblers in that though too, because you had
figure out like what to do to pass the time because I mean it was literally just drinking and cards. There was literally nothing else going on there.
I liked Lucas the bartender though. He was a good bartender.
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric was the bartender. Lucas, like I think worked there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Eric
Lucas
was
and
like-
Eric. Eric was usually bartending. Lucas was usually doing Jaeger bombs. That was his go-to shot.
Yes, I definitely met.
Yeah.
That's such a tough shot, man. I can't drink like when I drink Jaeger bombs or I drink vodka and Red Bull. It's like a non-stop party. Like I don't do drugs. Well, I'll smoke some weed here or there, but I don't really like do drugs. But Red Bull and vodka, it just has you buzzed like this until you can't even focus. It's so crazy.
Jaeger originally was a drug. It started off as like a German cough syrup.
Which one was?
Then, Jaeger.
Jaeger?
Yeah. It was like a German cough syrup, and it obviously apparently didn't fix anyone's coughs, but got people drunk. So they decided to make it an alcohol.
We'll keep it. I heard that Listerine was actually a cleaning solvent and then got turned into a mouthwash, which I feel like is crazy. But
Great.
super crazy. They're fun. The math puzzles coming in. Gaz Gazington, Jesus, take the wheel, Harmony said. It's time to start going in heavier and heavier. All right, we're probably going to have to do another shot, right? I feel like we got to step it up as we start. Because they're not giving me questions, guys. Give me some questions. Tell us what you want to know, and we will be sure to ask them.
I think it's weird that people are just interested in any of this stuff. Sure.
In any of which stuff?
In anything about like any random people. That's not my thing. Like I don't know.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
I feel like people in general are voyeuristic and want to know more about other people. And it makes them feel more normal, I think, the weirder other people are.
I actually thought about it today when you were like messaging us to get on. I'm like, you should definitely do one with you and Lauren.
Yeah.
Like, you and Lauren, we should definitely be one.
With me and Lauren, I'm totally down. She's more private than I am. We are polar personality types. So I am open book, out of control. I don't care. She's a little more reserved. She does her thing, but she's able to manage my personality, but it's crazy.
I met her.
What's up?
I liked Lauren instantly.
Me too.
She just had like good vibes.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Well, that's good.
Me too. Yeah, you like her.
You like Lauren?
You like her instantly when you like each had her 16 birthday
Age
party.
is but a number. No, she had it.
Super great.
Listen, she worked really hard for like 9 years and she got me. No, wait, more than 9 years. When we first met, she was 15. We got together when she was 27, 12 years. She put 12 years of work in. Look at her. And then she finally got me.
Amanda buttered me up in like a year.
Oh, man.
It was like,
Yeah.
Buttering up. Is that what they're calling it? So, what?
I'll be right back. You can ask Amanda anything crazy.
oh god.
Let's do it, guys. Ask the questions, and I will make sure. Steady Eddie said, "Define drugs."
But it was fun. But it was definitely an adventure.
Interesting. Bernie said, "Is Amanda and Eric from Staten Island?" No, I believe they're both from Jersey.
You're not. You're both from New Jersey. I grew up in Elizabeth.
My family's from North Arlington, and I grew up in Ocean County. I'm in Union County since I was for the last 15 years.
Oh
I grew
wow,
up
both Jersey born and bred.
Yeah.
And then Jose said he used to do coke. He wasn't addicted. He just liked the way it smelled. And,
I did coke one time in my whole life.
all right, Eric, we'll give you some of these poker questions. Eric, top 5 players in the league, in your opinion, go.
Players in the league. All right, so I probably have to go with guys that I've played with both in the league and out of the league, and guys that have played like cash games and tournaments. Because I think to be considered a good player, like you definitely have to have played outside of free poker. So for me, it's like Julian Joe when he plays. Yeah, I know he doesn't play a ton, but he plays in at headliners and and Juan. Juan's definitely a very good.
Hold it. So we have Jules, Juan. Who else?
And Jody, even
And
though Jody is.
Jody. Okay, so those are your top three.
Those are my picks, and those are all guys. And the only reason I picked those guys is because I have all seen them cash in tournaments outside of the bar league, and I've also played cash with all, and they're all like pretty sound players.
You've got my number in cash. You'll call me with the one outer all day and always catch. You catch like nobody I've seen before.
Juan Pedreas, not Juan Canales, in case people are wondering. I'm talking about Juan Pedreas, who used to own Habana before he sold it.
He was your protege.
Yeah, he is. He's probably the guy that knows the most about how I play poker than anyone else in the world. Like, I used to go to his bar and sit and play on his Wi-Fi and play like the Sunday 200 on Party Poker, and we would play all the time. In fact, actually, one time I let him play like the early rounds of a tournament. So we both bought in. We put in $100 each. We bought into the Sunday 200. I let him play the early rounds of the tournament, and then I took over once we got further in, and we ended up taking 6th place in the Sunday
That's a
200.
good pop. That's a really good
Yeah,
pop.
we won. I think it cashed for like 3,600, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what the cash out was. Yeah, and he's seen me play for sure online more than anyone else. And I talk to him about poker a lot. I talk to Brian Linden all the time about poker too, but Brian doesn't listen.
Brian doesn't.
So,
I'm not gonna lie. I love Brian Linden. He doesn't have a learning curve. He doesn't.
He's got too much gamble in him, so he
Yeah.
doesn't listen as much. But Juan definitely. In fact, like a lot of times we'll go and play the Survivor tournament on Thursdays at Parks, and if one of us cashes, we free roll the other guy.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to rush you through this. We got a lot of questions piling in on you. Who are your next two?
Wow, my next two?
Yeah, because it said top five. You only gave me three.
Oh shit! All right. Now I gotta think.
What happened to Frank Capra? He was always a consistent player.
Frank Cap.
So Frank Capra, one of Amanda's.
Well, yeah, I was thinking he was a consistent.
Ask Amanda her top five. My next two.
Well, you come up with the last two. Okay, Amanda, who are your top five poker players in Downs of the Fell? Go ahead.
That's cheating.
You can't say Eric. You can't say Eric.
Not including me.
Come on, they're lining up the MFKs over here. Marry, fuck, kill. So go ahead, give it to us.
They're lining. They're just marry, F kills just for days.
I agree with Juan as well. Probably cheating as well.
Oh, she is being boring and copying your answers.
Can't copy all my answers.
Frank Zaitz?
For his luck. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Zaitz. Frank Zaitz gets listed in the top five a lot.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. Actually, listen, I sat at Frank's table the year last year when he won
the Rocket.
The Rocket tournament, and I actually thought he played pretty well, man.
Lucy's not bad either.
He definitely got lucky in some spots. Like he would lose with like a
he
big
puts
hand
himself in a good position to get lucky too, though.
And then he'd like go all he'd call someone's all in with like ace-8 offsuit, which I think would probably be a bad call in general. But but then like next hand he'd get like queens or something and get the money right back. So don't get me wrong, like that definitely happened. But I also think Frank has caught on to the idea that you can 3-bet people lighter than most people expect.
Yeah,
like,
and a lot of people don't get that.
You don't just need queens, kings, and aces to raise to re-raise someone that's already raised pre-flop. And Frank has started to do that with like different pairs. And I think that's definitely made his game stronger. So yeah, and not for nothing, like Frank's gone pretty far, in a lot of events, So I don't think you can just say, he's just lucky all the time. Like he obviously he definitely plays well enough to keep himself in the game. So I think sometimes people shortchange him, because of his
Agreed.
personality and stuff. But I don't think that he's 100% like, you know.
So is he your
I,
number four? He's your number four player in the top five?
I don't know. He's my number four. I'm still thinking. You still gotta get Amanda. I wasn't expecting four. Four is tough. I gave you three. I thought three was good.
No, they
willing to learn. I know he asked Eric a lot of questions.
who's that?
Mike Souls,
Souls?
Staten Island. Yeah, like he's really willing to like take in information.
All right, this is getting bland for the After Dark segment, guys. Come on, give us the goods. All right, Amanda.
Forward players was. I don't know what to tell you.
Amanda, marry, fuck, kill, Alex, Ryan, Scott. Go ahead.
Wow.
DInellas, I'm assuming all DInellas.
No, they could be any Alex, Ryan, or Scott that you choose. No, of course, all DInellas.
Yeah, please.
I would 100% marry Scott.
Hold on, we didn't ask you. Go keep thinking about your top five poker players because we'll get back to you on that.
I thought we moved on because that wasn't spicy enough.
No, she was thinking longer than Frank was thinking, so I can't do it. I couldn't deal with the thinking. I don't like thinking too much in the After Dark segment. Come on, Amanda. Stop. There shouldn't be so much thought process. Where does your heart...
I'm killing Ryan, I'm fucking Alex, and I'm marrying Scott.
Killing Ryan, fucking Alex, marrying Scott. You heard it here first.
I might go the same way. It's tough. I'm sorry, Ryan, too. I love you, buddy.
Wow, Ryan, you just died twice from your favorite player and his other half. Dead, dead, dead. Everybody's banging Alex. And then we're all marrying Scott because he's a marrying type. That's what he is. Let's all do a shot. We're going to let them pose us a new question. We got more MFK. Oh, there we go. All right. People love to give the marry, fuck, kills in family groups, huh?
It's interesting. People really want to know, like.
People are lining up marry, fuck, kills are coming out now. We got this. Hold on. So let's take this shot and get back to the next marry, fuck, kill.
This is on Instagram Live. Is that where you're seeing all the comments?
Shots up. It's on YouTube Live. YouTube Live. No, we're not on any other social media but the YouTube because I could edit it down and cut it out.
We have marry, fuck, kill.
Guys, shots, not phones. You both look like Drake about to sing a rap song. Come on, pick up your glasses. Cheers. Amanda, that's not a shot. You're drinking your regular drink?
Okay.
She does have to work tomorrow.
What time? Is she working from home?
She is working from home, but she still has to, like, be coherent.
Video conference at
11. Come on. It's 12 hours away. Do you guys have Pedialyte? I keep Pedialyte in my house in the non-essential forms, usually just to rehydrate.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte is my number one suggestion for people for hungover.
Yeah, we always have Pedialyte in the house.
Yeah, I used to keep the little packs with powder in it.
I got that too. Yeah, both.
That's how I used to get rid of hangover 100%.
I think it's gross.
And it used to be Advil and Pedialyte. Now it's got to be Tylenol and Pedialyte because I don't trust it with all this social media stuff telling me. Hold on, we're doing another one? Let's do another one and then we go to the next MFK. Because I saw the Panza MFK came through. So cheers, everybody, to MFK, all the Panzas. Glenn, shots up. Way to join us. Make sure you're drinking with us every time we do a shot. You do a shot.
Okay.
I know Eric's not going to pass out on the couch. I think Amanda might be the first to soma on us.
That's probably fair.
So,
fair.
All right, let's see where we're at. Marry, fuck, kill, Karen, Kerry, Doris. Go ahead.
Oh, we just talked about this.
Oh, off screen, you guys are talking about this? Look at you guys.
We go through MFKs all the time at home.
So you marry, fuck, kill at home all the time. You just think it's weird that other people do it.
I think you got to kill.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think you got to kill Karen.
We gotta kill
Come on, stop. This is not a wait. Is this a threesome marry, fuck, kill, or is this like we sister wiving, or is this two individual marry, fuck, kills?
The same
spicy, but I still think some of those are obvious. I definitely.
though. Karen, fuck Carrie, marry Doris.
I go the same route, man. Like
Oh
I don't know.
man,
Maybe that's why we're in a relationship.
they're on the
We have
same page. On the same page.
we have the same taste in women, apparently. Yeah,
It sounds like it.
I think, yeah. Well, Karen knows, she goes a little off kilter. So I think we got to put her out of her misery.
I have a low tolerance.
It's a mercy killing. And then,
Karen, I can do in spurts. I can do spurts of Karen.
yeah.
Carrie,
So then,
they did rate Ryan. Ryan rated the same as
and
Frank
Doris
from
is
both.
in marriage. So I mean, I got to marry Doris. Yeah, that's it. I think that one's easy. I think that's an easy one for me. But
I think that was a pretty easy one. All right, Amanda, you got to marry fuck kill from Rob Alberti.
oh,
Frank Zaitz, Alex Medina, and me. Go ahead.
oh, spicy.
Spicy.
You're gonna kill Frank, or you're gonna throw him a free?
No, I think I gotta marry.
Jody are also checked in the
I like
building.
I like it.
Wait. You're marrying Frank?
Yeah,
I'm marrying Frank for sure.
I think so. I think Frank's a good dude to be married to, right? Lucy's a lucky
Lucy
lady.
is a lucky guy. You know what? I always say Frank is my choice to marry.
I think Frank will definitely take care of you,
Yeah.
right? Like Frank will make sure that
Frank
you're
is
happy.
in their video. I only saw like the first part of it. Adorable.
They are.
All right.
He is. He's a Marion type. He's another Scott DInella. I agree with you.
I can't talk. I have to play. I'm sorry.
Wow, Tom.
Wait, hold on. I couldn't even hear you breaking up over there. We can't hear what you're saying, and we're dying to know. The people want to know.
I gotta kill you, Tom.
I'm dead.
Telling you,
All right.
I throw you a bang, bro.
I can't do
I
it.
throw you a
I
bang.
can't.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
I'm just letting you know. Just saying.
So I'm dead and you're banging Alex, huh? All right. Congratulations to all of you lovely couples. I'm out. I'm dead already. Jody has asked, would you rather have fingers as long as your legs or legs as long as your fingers?
Wow. I don't know if I'm high enough for this question, but give me a second.
Fingers as long as my legs.
Yes. Or legs as long as your fingers.
Fingers as long as my legs. Like, why would you be that short? I feel like
No, baby. I'm like, this is your finger. And this is your hand.
No, fingers as long as your
As your leg.
or legs as long as your fingers.
Right. I want my legs. How am I gonna walk?
Yeah, but why would you want legs this tall, this big?
Oh, man. Guys, you see what's happening? You see what you did to this couple?
It doesn't make any sense. 100%. You gotta take the long hands. Like you don't want
Do you want 4 foot long fingers?
nothing to be tall and function in life. So yeah, I'm gonna go with long
I
hands.
agree.
I'm gonna go with long hands all day.
Fuck that. I'm going exactly the opposite. Nobody asked me the question, but yeah.
You're gonna be a little person. I feel like that's just you're all foot at that point.
I still have my torso.
Like you don't have a leg. Like you got nothing going on there. I don't know.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. That is an interesting question. Tom gets no love.
Somebody definitely smoked something and asked.
All right. That was Jody. That was Jody who's checking in with us for this interview.
What's that question, Jody?
All right. Amanda, look right at us. Don't look at Eric. Ready?
Oh wow!
Okay.
Can I stare at her the whole time?
No.
Yep.
Like this?
Tone in. Amanda, what is Eric's favorite position?
Oh.
Am I gonna get in trouble because I feel like he doesn't want to answer these questions?
No. This is not his
Nope.
question. This is your question.
Let
Listen,
me answer whatever you want.
I don't want you to get it.
Don't. I said no looking.
Sorry.
There's no looking! This is for super high stakes.
This is super high stakes. She's thinking really hard.
I think girl on top.
So regular. That's his regular.
The regular way, but opposite. The
So you-
opposite regular way.
So he's a missionary bottom. Missionary bottom, like Ryan is.
That's amazing. I thought that someone said regular. Best shit ever.
Lukács said better than MFK. People would just want to drop kick you if you were that short. If the Mets and the Red Sox played in the World Series, who would win?
Whoa,
That's
we'd be
what Kev.
fighting. We'd be fighting.
That's
That's
rough.
We'd be fighting. Not for nothing. The Mets and the Red Sox did play in the World Series, and guess who won?
Anybody that wasn't Bill Buckner.
But I think the Red Sox would win now.
These guys right here.
These guys right there. I agree. I usually have a Mets hat on too if I don't have my herded.
So
Are we ready to do another shot? I'm ready to do another shot.
The Red Sox
to
would
be
win.
honest, that's why I was a Mets fan. They won when I was a little kid, so I've been a Mets fan my whole life.
I think that's really a common thread for people. Like when they were
I
kids.
know that like Yankees fans get all crazy, but like the Yankees were terrible when I was young. They really
were terrible.
The Yankees in the '80s and the early '90s, they were like one of the worst teams in baseball.
I was a Mets fan because my grandfather was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, and then he would never like the Yankees.
I'm not like John. I know Jonathan Cruz like hates the Yankees with all his heart. I don't. And some of the rivalry kind of makes sense. Like the Mets exist because people didn't want to root for just one team in New York. But like when I grew up, none of that mattered. It was just, yeah, you rooted for who you saw, and I've always been a Mets fan.
Yeah,
Dwight Gooden.
I respect the Yankee fans that were Yankee fans when we were little in the 80s.
Those were the guys when I was growing up. So I'm not a guy that changes teams either. So who I like is who I like. That's it.
All right. If you could hang out with any famous person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Amanda goes first, and then Eric goes because Amanda tends to copy Eric's answers.
Rude. At the moment, I would like to sit down.
Why are you so breaky? Do that again. You're too breaky. I couldn't hear that.
Say it again.
That's just how Amanda sounds.
That is true.
She cuts in and out.
That is
true.
In the apartment, she's like, I did.
Today, I would say Megan McCain as a famous person alive.
Megan McCarthy?
McCain.
John
McCain.
John McCain's wife. That's who you chose. Daughter. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a very random answer. I'm pretty sure Eric's not going to have the same answer as that.
Yeah. That's why I said rude.
Dead or alive?
One person's tough, man. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, like I think if you have one person, like how do you don't pick like somebody like Jesus, somebody that's
Jesus,
like,
there is no other name in my head. There's nobody.
Like big. Somebody that's like really big, Like how do you not pick? Like if you give me a few people, I might pick like Teddy Roosevelt or somebody, but like one person, I don't know. I think that's
It's got to be somebody that.
You gotta go somebody big, right? Somebody that
big, like that everybody knows, and that any famous person, like if you ask Michael Jackson or Elvis who you want to hang out with, they're gonna be like Jesus, because there's nobody that's topping it.
I mean, I actually think it's easier to pick if you're famous, right? Because like you know all the famous people.
Yeah, but
you gotta pick.
You know what's funny? If you ask Jesus who he'd pick to hang out with, dead or alive, they'd say John McCain's daughter.
I think he picks Frank Zaitz.
on Frank Zaitz. That was a pretty good question. That was an interesting one that's different. Hold on, let's catch up. The questions are starting to come now. So, Alex, we need another Mets Marlins outing. I would love to do another Mets Marlins outings. My church
That was
is
a good
first.
game. All right, so good story about the Mets Marlins game, right? So Tom and I have not been baseball games together, and he and I are degenerates. You guys
It's true. That is a fact.
We will literally bet on pretty much anything. Like we'll bet on like the next guy that walks into the room, whether he has blonde hair or black hair. Like
absolutely,
that's who we are, right? So he and I go to the Mets game, and we literally bet everything. So we're betting shots, and we're betting on like the next pitch, if it's going to be a ball or a strike, if the next guy is going to get on base, if someone's going to score a run in this inning.
We got wasted.
And every guy that lost, we had to run up. So there was no bar on the floor that we were staying on. You could only get beer. And Tom and I were drinking alcohol. So you had to run up to the third floor, go to which was the closest bar to where we were, and then they wouldn't let you order. They wouldn't let you order 2 doubles at a time because technically that was 4 drinks. So they wouldn't serve you 4 drinks as one person. So you had to order a double, wait till
Go
the
back
next guy
online.
orders something else, get back online, and then order another double for yourself in order to cash in this bet. And that's how we spent most of that Mets game.
We got wasted at that Mets game. That was a good Mets
I
game.
was very drunk. It was one of the drunkest times I've ever been to Met Stadium. I don't know if my friend Josh is on, but he was on before. So at the time I used to work for AT&T, and we used to win ticket. The best part was that like all the guys that were it looks like we're frozen.
Oh, did we freeze?
Okay, we got it. So all the guys that were higher up at AT&T used to be Yankee fans. In fact, that's why AT&T used to sponsor the Yankees along with Bank of America, because the VPGM for the New York market was a huge Yankee fan, right? So a lot of people used to take all the Yankee tickets. So the Mets tickets were always up for grabs for the rest of them, right? So a lot of the guys from Jersey were Mets fans, so we used to get to go to Mets games. So I go to Mets games with this other guy, Mike, who used to be a manager with me at AT&T, and we do a shot every inning until the 7.5 inning at a Mets game. And my buddy Josh was there because I brought him with me for my extra ticket, and we were just getting annihilated. So then we're on our way back. We're on our way back home, and my buddy Mike is hammered. So we go to Mustang Sally. I don't know if we went to Mustang Sally's or Mustang Harry's, which is right by Penn. And we go there.
Two different bars?
No, yeah, they are. The 2 different bars, Mustang Sally's and Mustang Harry's.
Right across,
Well, both in New York, both very close to Penn. So anyway, so we go to the bar, and Mike's like, "Listen, I want to have tequila. Do you like tequila?" I'm like, "No, I fucking hate tequila. I think it tastes gross and it makes me not remember what happened. So I don't really like tequila." He's like, "We're gonna do a shot of tequila because that's what I want to drink right now." So he goes, "Bartender, what's the shittiest tequila you guys serve here?" And the bartender's like, our well tequila is pretty bad. It's like, wait a minute, but is it shitty? He's like, yeah, I would probably consider it pretty shitty. He's like, cool, give me 2 shots of that. So,
gross.
So that's what we had. Yeah, it was also one of the drunkest times I've ever been to a Mets game. We should definitely. I know somebody brought it up last year, but we should definitely consider doing like the party deck.
I'm totally down to do that again. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go, right by the bullpen.
I think it would be a good time.
I'm in. All right. Who is your celebrity hall pass? Each of you.
Oh.
I don't know if I have one, but I can think of one. All right, let's see.
Who is it? I don't know.
Wow, she was on that. Who is it?
Oh.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
John McCain, for sure. Just so she has a chance of meeting the daughter.
Channing Tatum?
No.
Steve Buscemi?
No.
He's watching.
Is he?
Is.
Yeah. Is he? Steve Buscemi is definitely tuning in right now.
Who's a celebrity?
Who is a celebrity?
Eric, I need you to explain this to her like Lucy was doing with Frank. Go ahead. Help her through this.
Really? Yeah. That explain who a celebrity was? Oh, this person.
All I can think about
Is who?
I just watched the next Netflix series, Unorthodox, and the guy who plays Moishe.
Oh.
Jeff Wilbush.
That's your celebrity hall pass, is Jeff Wilbush.
Right, today.
Your celebrity hall pass is Moish?
This guy.
Not Orlando Bloom.
I feel like you're shortchanging yourself. I feel like you gotta go big. I feel like Brad Pitt or something.
Maybe she's setting the bar to where she could meet this guy and really get a chance to get it in, Eric.
You're leaving me for Moish. I feel bad.
There's a very good chance she meets him.
What did say about me? Jesus.
What?
Jesus.
But he was the guy in the show was hot, so that could be a good hall pass, I guess.
Oh.
Who's your hall pass though?
There he is. All right. That's our celebrity hall pass. We're gonna have to get the photo up of that guy at a later date. Eric, who do you have? Who's your celebrity hall pass?
You got it readily available, guys. In case anyone's
I'm buying
wondering.
it time.
I don't know. I think like J Lo would be interesting because she's a little bit older.
She's a lot older.
She's been around the block a few times. Right? She's Jenny from the block, right?
Shakira's a little bit older too, and she's still Shakira.
Oh, Heidi Klum, really interesting. J Lo's not a bad one. I agree with that one. I don't really think about it. That's not like a common thing that I think about. Like I don't go, oh, if I left Amanda for a celebrity, who would it be? Who would it be? Amanda will tell you, like, I could meet a celebrity tomorrow. I'd be like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, I could care less. That's not my thing.
Not starstruck. She's with the others.
I have zero. I have like zero interest in. Yeah, I mean, I've met a few.
Yeah. Who is your favorite and least favorite dealer in the league? Go ahead, and why?
I don't want to get into his favorite. My favorite. Ooh. Glenn for a final table, but I really enjoyed when Lugazzo. At the smoker's table. I loved every second of it.
Lugazzo was your favorite. Lukacs is in the building, and he's now very upset because he thought he was your favorite dealer. Way to be a tease.
Glenn's probably my favorite dealer because he deals with. You know what's funny? Who I don't think is particularly a great dealer, but always deals me great cards. So if I had to pick like a dealer, like Kathy Duke, as she's known, C-Hag.
Oh yeah,
C-Hag.
Kathy Duke.
Yes, I've heard. I didn't come up with that. I think it's amazing, but so I think she's not a great dealer because you get 4 hands an hour, but for some reason that lady deals me gold. She just deals me gold. But I would say consistently, Glenn for sure. Glenn definitely usually he's consistent. Like he knows what's going on. He handles the table well. Like I don't know how you don't go with like a tournament director.
I never ask these questions, but I'm going to ask it to you. Do you have the same political views or opposite?
Mostly similar, like 97% similar.
That's a good question. Yeah, we're pretty similar. Like we talk about it a lot. I'm probably more of a I'm very like middle of the road independent type person, whereas I think Amanda leans a little more left than I do.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so.
You think I do? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
I think working in social services, I lean left in social policy.
Well, that's what I would say.
But financially, I lean more right.
Yeah, I would say that for sure, because she works in social services, inherently she's going to be a little more left leaning than I am. I'm traditionally I'm probably more of a fiscal conservative, but I'm very libertarian in a lot of issues. But I do have a lot of social issues too that I also tend to go left with. That's why I feel like I think Chris Rock got it right. So Chris Rock in one of his stand-up specials says that anyone that makes a decision on an issue before they ever heard all the facts about it is an idiot, right? So I think that
Agreed.
that choosing to lean a certain way based on what a group of people that you tend to align with frequently, whether that be a Republican or Democrat, I think is silly. I think
like the kind of conflict of
Amanda cuts in and out. I feel like Eric hasn't cut in and out yet. I think your voice is definitely. I think he's telling the truth. That happens in real life. Glenn said, "Thank you for the compliment."
Sounds like real life. She cuts in and out all the time.
I like the conflict of this is how I think, but you make a good point too. And I think that I can kind of sway either side of it in a moderate sense.
So,
I like things to make sense to me, and if it doesn't make sense to me, then I can't get behind it.
Eric went somewhere again, huh? All right, if you could choose.
He's probably throwing a cookie.
This guy
Most likely.
is. You think he's throwing up? You said most likely throwing up already.
No, he's not throwing up for sure, but he's in
So
the bathroom.
Amanda, they want to know, other than the person that you're with right now, Eric, what down to the felt player would you choose to be quarantined with?
Interesting. Whoever's gonna have like a fun game night.
No, it's
So, like,
quarantined. You're trapped with them for months
I
at
know,
a
but
time.
they're gonna have a fun game night. Like, we're gonna have fun.
So who are you choosing? You got to choose one
I would
player
rather
from the league.
What happened?
Don't influence
I
her
mean,
decision.
I would have fun with Frank and Lucy, I think.
No. Oh, so you're saying you want to have a threesome? We're not talking about that. We're talking about
No,
strictly one
quarantine.
quarantinable person. Amanda, did you watch the Frank and Lucy cast? You were chose for that threesome, I think.
Was I?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Thank
you. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to go back and watch the footage. Oh, I don't even know if you can. That might have been the After Dark segment.
Ew.
Nice. It's nice to be nominated. It's just nice to be nominated.
It's nice to be nominated. It's like an Emmy.
Yeah.
Amanda got so rosy cheeked. She got all flustered from it. Look at that. Look at that. It's getting warm in here.
Yeah.
That might make it more fluid. Let's see if it does it. So they said friendly game of Naked Twister. For you, Frank and Lucy. I think Twister came up in that interview. I believe so.
Got me naked.
Oh man! All right, guys, ask the questions now because we're winding down in the after hours. Lucy said, "Good choice, Amanda. She cooks every night."
Okay, I can cook too. So we're gonna have a lot of good food. We're gonna have a good time.
And Frank's hung like a stallion.
Yeah, well, that's the most important part.
There you go. That's it right there. Baby arm holding an apple. I guarantee it. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if we have any more questions popping through the feed. You guys have any? What's your craziest story, Amanda? Go ahead.
My craziest story?
Yep, craziest
That's like
night.
a very broad question.
I don't think I can answer that either.
Neither one of you have a crazy story. You have a night that you might regret you take back. No, none of them.
I take all back many of them.
All your bad nights. I know you've gotten white girl wasted before, Amanda.
What happened?
I said I know you've gotten white girl wasted before.
I know we've all been there, so I would take many of them back.
Pull back. Where is RJ? Alex is asking. I don't know. He didn't want to tune in to be co-host.
I'm telling you, he thinks that I'm mean.
That is true. He really does think that.
Yeah, he pulled right out. He pulled right out on being the co-host in this. I was trying to get him involved. He's a numbers guy. Eric's a numbers guy. This would have been great together.
I'm not trying to be mean to you. I just think that sometimes you say some weird shit on Facebook that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then two, that you're just kind of setting yourself up to be made fun of. But I also think that it's important for anybody to be able to learn how to make fun of themselves, right? Like, so if you want to be included in a group, like, I think you have to be willing to laugh at yourself. And if
take a joke, you have to be able to take a joke.
Set yourself up for trouble, right? Like, I would say to anybody, like, think about yourselves and like your closest friends. And what's probably one of the things that you do the most consistently is that you make fun of each other. Like, it's just, you get very comfortable with one another. So if you're not able to do that, then you're setting yourself up for trouble. And I think in this bar league, I think it's definitely true.
And Eric's personality in general is not going to be in the mid time. Like, he's not going to be warm and fuzzy. He's just sort of a very straightforward person. He's not going to be rude, but he's not going to go out of his way to make you feel comfortable either.
So Frank, Dr. Zates just texted me to tell the story about how I lost a bunch of phones in Vegas. So I went to go play again in the World Series at the Colossus a few years ago. And Wes, Melba, Anthony Rivera came with me. And a guy that I've played poker with at Brian and Alicia's house, which is a totally separate other story, a guy that we call Jizz. You heard that right, Jizz. And Brian and Alicia were supposed to come, but both of them ended up not being able to make it. So anyway, I go to play in this tournament, right? So I go to play in the Colossus event, and Anthony Rivera's with me. He's never played in a tournament before, so I have to help him get registered and stuff. But the problem is the day before we went to a pool party at Tao, right? So we go to the pool party at Tao, and in Vegas, edibles and marijuana are legal so long as you have a license, right?
I haven't
And
been there since that happened, but go ahead.
it's very easy to get a license. Apparently, according to one of the guys that was staying with us, all you have to do is go down to a place on the strip, pay $100, and they give you a license, and then you can go to a dispensary and buy whatever. So the guy Jiz that was staying with us goes and buys a bunch of edibles. So we're going to go to this pool party. Anthony Rivera has not done edibles before, as far as he tells me. So he's like, and hopefully, I hope he doesn't mind me telling the story, but I'm going to tell it.
It's all right. Late night. This will be erased. Go ahead.
It's more on me than it is on him anyway, because he was fine that day. So anyway, we go to the pool party at Tao, but before we go, we have a few edibles, right? So now the drinks, like a lot of places, a lot of bars and clubs in Vegas are pretty expensive, but you can buy triples in like souvenir style glass, almost like you would get at like a sporting event with like the little flexi straw. You can buy like a triple for like 30 or $35, which is pretty cheap at a club in Vegas, right?
Considering Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, which like drinks in Vegas are like fucking $15 for like single pour of Jameson with ginger ale, you know. So of course I'm like, yeah, I'm drinking triples, right? So I've had, let's say, like 4 or 5 of those triple glasses, and we're just hanging out at the pool. People are playing volleyball, and Anthony goes to me, is like, hey man, these edibles aren't really doing much for me. And in my head, I'm like, I know that edibles take a while to take effect,
release.
right? Because your liver, when you ingest anything cannabis related, your liver processes it instead of, when you smoke it and it goes right into your bloodstream. So it takes a lot longer and it can be way more psychedelic. But anyway, so he's like, hey, so I brought some more. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do these and see what happens, right? And of course, I'm like, 4 or 5 triples in. So I'm like, yeah,
great idea.
Why not? Yeah,
great idea.
So I do the extra edible, and then, like I said, we're sitting by the pool, and there's like a volleyball game going on with like a beach ball or whatever, and so at one point in time, it definitely kicks in. In fact, there's a video. I don't remember. I think he posted it or I posted it. I don't remember. That's on my Facebook. That in the middle of the video of him, like, doing like a stealthy video and kind of like filming us. Yeah. And I like literally turned to him and go, hey, it's kicking in, right? Yeah. Like 100%. Like, I'm feeling it. So
See if you can find that video.
Shortly right after that,
post it.
The volleyball comes my way. Now, I haven't been playing in this volleyball game. I'm not in the pool. I'm just sitting on the side. And it just kicks in. So I'm like, I got to get this ball. I dive in, hit the ball, right? Go to the other side. I jump in. I go in the water, come back up. Everyone's like, yeah, cheering stuff. I jump in with everything I was wearing, my phone, my money, my wallet in my pocket.
Oh man.
Everything I had on me. So I give it to some girls that were hanging out with us, and they try to like dry my phone with a towel, but to no avail. My phone's dead, right? I'm like, crap, I gotta go buy another phone. So the next day is the day that we're supposed to play in the Colossus, right? I decided I want to play day 1A and just play the first flight of the event, because if I played that flight, then I wouldn't have to play again until Monday when day 2 was, right?
And then you can hang out,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so I can hang out. I can hang out all weekend, no problem. I'm gonna do this. So now I have to go to Harrah's. Anthony's never registered for a WSOP event. In fact, he doesn't even have a Harrah's card, right? So I put him in the line to wait for the Harris card, which is super long, right? But I wasn't paying attention to how many people were behind him. So I just told him to wait in one spot, and apparently he cut like 50% of the line. And,
Great.
and no one said anything to him, so he got the card super fast. So I register for the tournament. Anthony gets his card. I show him the room where he has to go buy into the event. And then I like run out to the taxi stand because I gotta go get another cell phone. Like I have no way to talk to anybody. I have no phone, nothing. So I run out, go to the taxi stand. I'm like, hey, do you know of any T-Mobile store that's open in the area? So we try like 2 or 3 stores. We finally find one that's open. I'm like, hey, just wait for me. I go inside to this T-Mobile store. First of all, the guy is like the door's locked. The guy's walking around in the back, and he looks like he's half asleep. So I knock on the door because it's unlocked, but there's somebody in there. So I'm like, I need a phone. Like I gotta get out of here. This guy's here. Like come and open the door. So he comes and opens the door for me, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm running late. Me and my girlfriend just broke up. It was a
Oh my
really bad
God.
situation. He starts telling me his whole life story, right? And I'm like, super cool. Give me an Android so I can get the hell out of here and get back to this
I got a
tournament.
tournament to get in. Yeah.
He can't get into the computers. He doesn't remember his password. He has to call another store, get their password to log in to figure out how to add this phone to my account. And he the whole time he's like, yeah, this bracelet right here is me and my girlfriend. He has that tattoo on his wrist that literally says love. And
Uh,
apparently it was for his girlfriend who they just broke up with. Right? So this guy's telling me sob stories the whole time and moving super slow, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how many blinds am I missing at this point, right? In the tournament, because I'm bought in, but I'm being blinded out. My chip stack's being blinded out. So eventually, it takes forever. I get my phone, I hop back in the cab, go back to the tournament. I ended up cashing in the Colossus event, right? I busted out because I ran jacks in the aces on the button versus the big blind. So then
that
the
sucks.
next, so then on Monday we go to Marquee, right? And Marquee Mondays was like the big event in Vegas. I don't
Yeah,
know if
that
it
was the
still is.
party.
At the time, that was like the party, right? So we get online early, get there. I get hammered, right? Wes, Melba, Anthony, they all leave to go gamble at Aria or somewhere else, and I stay because I met some people from Clifton, and we're just hanging out with like a bunch of people from Jersey, and I'm just getting shit faced. So on my way back to the house that we rented in North Vegas, I leave the phone I just bought a few days ago in the Uber,
Oh,
right?
that sucks.
So then on Tuesday morning, when I wake up in this house in North Vegas, everyone else had flights before I did. So I wake up in a house in North Vegas with no phone and no one else there. They've Anthony, Melba, Wes, just they've all left. And I'm there with no way to talk to anybody, no way to call a cab, no way to figure out how to get to the airport. So I'm like, fuck, right? And I'm still a little hungover from the night before.
Did you go
So
back
I
to your
go
friend?
no, so I go and I start walking, right, to try to find a business that'll let me use their phone so I can make a phone call to figure out a way to get a cab to take my ass to the airport so I don't miss my flight, right? So then I go to this, I find this store. Now I don't know if people are familiar with Vegas, but North Vegas is predominantly like uh, they're kind of like cul-de-sacs, right? They're small areas where people have built like model homes and shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not
A
like the
group.
strip. It's not like the strip where there's like shit every 2 feet.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
a
the
lot more
desert.
it's a lot more scattered, right? And you literally are you're in the middle of the freaking desert. So I have to go and find a business that'll let me use their phone. So I walk into this storage place. It's like, hey man, listen, I'm not a crackhead. I'm not crazy. I just need to use your phone because I lost my phone last night and I have no way of contacting people and my flight leaves today. So I convinced this guy to let me use his phone.
He
He
was
lets
good
me
enough
call
to
a
do
cab.
it.
Yeah, he lets me call a cab, but then he doesn't let me stay inside because he still wants to talk to customers. So I have to fucking wait outside the place in like 110-degree weather, sweating my ass off. Eventually, the cab comes, I go back to the house that we rented. I talked to the landlord was there because it was the day we were supposed to be checking out. I talked to him. I get a ride to the airport. I check into my flight, go back down to the cab stand to take me to another cell phone place so I can buy another phone, go back to the airport, hop on my flight, come back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then the bigger part too is like I was flying into Philly and taking the train back into.
Oh god.
Actually, no, the flight in Philly was delayed, so I decided to take a train back into Jersey, right? So I take the train from Philly to Jersey because I don't want to have to wait for the connecting flight that's delayed, and I'm so close. I'm like, I can just take the train right to Linden and be home. And then I managed to lose the third phone that I bought on the train on the way back from Philly to Jersey.
Wow, you lost another one on the way back.
Yeah, yeah. So I lost three phones on one trip to Vegas.
That's rough. I have breaking news. Russell Boyle has just checked in. RJ,
Oh,
I've been
really?
listening. I barely know them. I can't ask questions. I'll co-host if it's Jay or Maria. I know them for years. Sorry, he just didn't want. He didn't want to be involved with you. That's what he's saying.
Hey.
And Alex said if RJ jumps on, he'll join in and double team you guys.
Okay.
Rob Alberti said Amanda, stop touching your face. Is Corona out there?
I washed my hand.
And then Slibby Bippy said, you grabbing the ball is like Frank grabbing the wheel. You guys don't have a takeaway line. I feel like all my interviews have had a takeaway line. We haven't had one yet in here.
I spent most of the day today building a bar cart that we ordered online. And as soon as it got here, Amanda Lysol'd the shit out of it.
Yeah, cardboard, right? I feel the same way.
The second I got in the building, so.
Trying to avoid being the outbreak monkey as much as possible.
I still think if I get Corona, Amanda's the outbreak monkey.
However, there is like a 1% chance that it could be you.
So
it's most likely me. I accept that, but it still could be you.
So to steal a line from one of my good friends, Amanda hasn't seen all the movies that like make you a person.
That's
right.
Oh wow! So what movies hasn't she seen?
I know, like literally, Amanda had never seen God. She still hasn't seen The Godfather, but she hadn't seen like
Classic.
Goodfellas.
What?
And Rounders.
Keep in mind how old I was when these movies came out.
I mean, you can literally name a movie, and Amanda probably hasn't seen it, right?
But okay, but there's a 10-year difference between us, right? So what?
That's why you want to meet John McCain's daughters, because you've never seen any of these movies. You don't know who the celebrities are.
That makes total sense.
What you were watching in the 90s was not what I was watching in the 90s.
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't see classics like Magic Mike, but I have seen a lot of good movies. So Amanda had never seen Outbreak and Contagion, and now I'm like, well, what?
Came out like 4 years ago.
No, Contagion.
What more apropos time?
I'm like, what better time than to see Outbreak and Contagion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made her watch those movies, so she definitely got a little.
Did you know one of them?
I asked to watch Contagion.
Yeah.
And you selected Outbreak, and I said yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then my question was, does the term outbreak monkey come from that movie, or was that a term beforehand?
Amanda Justice said she just watched you guys in the shower because she didn't want to miss a thing.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate your support.
Slippy Bippy asked Tommy Boy. Bernie said Animal House, Vegas Vacation, Secondhand Lions. I've never seen Secondhand Lions.
Vegas Vacation's a good. Actually, what I just watched the other day that's a pretty good degenerate gambler movie is Mississippi Grind. It's Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn, who was just in.
I've never seen that.
He was just in The Outsider that came on HBO, which is also
really good.
Which is also a really good show.
I'll check it out. Did you guys see The Tiger King yet or no?
Oh, of course.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. It was pretty crazy.
That's like probably one of the most. I watch a lot of documentaries, and that was probably one of the most entertaining documentaries.
Someone posted saying that the drug kingpin guy who has the private estate of the animals was the most normal, well-adjusted individual. And I was like, yeah, that is entirely true.
The Vegas guy you're talking about.
No, the Cuban guy in Florida that ran drugs and went to jail.
Oh yeah. He
He
was
owns that now. Now he just owns a bunch of tigers. He's the most normal guy in the documentary.
he was.
So that tells you something about it. Yeah, it was pretty good. I like. I thought it was really
I thought
good.
it was exceptional.
All right, Rob Alberti has one for you. Both of you have to say it at the same time. Where's the craziest place you've made whoopee?
Ooh.
Where we tried.
Oh, you tried.
I don't know if he means together. Does he mean together or does he mean separately?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
That is
So
good.
together.
You know what?
So
Do
together,
both. Do both.
So together is really easy, right? 100%. It was the women's bathroom stall and headliner.
Thank you. That's the plug.
Yes, during St. Patrick's.
Oh, wow. St. Patty's Day bathroom stall at headliner.
It was also the nicest way I've ever been thrown out of a club in my life.
Oh, they caught you?
The bouncers were as friendly as you can possibly imagine.
They were so nice.
The guy was like, "Hey, man, listen,
I get it.
We caught you. I don't know what to tell you. I get it. You guys just gotta go. No worries." I was like, "Cool. Listen, I left my jacket inside the club. Can I go get it?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem. Go inside. Just come back out when you get it. No big deal."
I outside the bar. I'm like, oh my god, we got kicked out. He's like, you could here.
That was definitely the
Craziest.
together and definitely the nicest way I've ever been thrown out of a club. Gotta be in public somewhere, right? It's gotta be like, I've definitely had sex outside, so I would say that. Yeah.
But where outside? You can't just say outside. It's not like under a tree.
All right, on a random New York street outside.
Yeah, random New York street outside. That's a good one.
Yeah, does that work? I mean, that would probably be it, right? I mean, that's for sure mine.
Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
All right.
Not daytime. Daytime is that's like.
Daytime's ballsy. Daytime.
I want to hear about people's wild daytime sex stories. They feel like I haven't had weird, wild places during the daytime. So if you have them out there, share.
If you have them, we'll bring you on. I'll send you the link. We'll let you share. You'll be our custom co-host.
Because like even if you have to really be like a voyeur to be like, yeah, I want a bunch of people watching me during the day, like.
Yeah. Is it a voyeur? Would that be? Isn't the voyeur the one that watches?
The voyeur is the one that watches. That's what I'm saying. Oh, you got to be an exhibitionist.
Exhibitionist. Yeah, you have to be a big exhibitionist if you want to see. Amanda, where was your craziest one? We have Eric's in the middle of the New York City on the street.
I won't.
In the middle of the street. I like that. That's what turned out to.
It would either be a park bench at night or
park bench where? You can't just say random places.
Just a random park bench.
Or the back of one of our venues.
There was a homeless guy that she met in Manhattan.
This guy. So park bench.
Or the bathroom of one of our venues. I won't say which one.
A bathroom at one of our venues, not headliner. Wow, have you guys christened? Well, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna get into it because I don't know if this is a dual story. Hoofa. We're gonna drink to that. Cheers. Shots up, everybody. Good job. Let's see what everybody's saying in the chat. We're gonna check on a question. RJ Boyle wants to know, when this is over, what will you guys do? I don't know what that was leading.
That's a very mundane question, I guess. I guess RJ is hoping for some spicy stuff.
Spicy.
We could. Maybe we'll do it and think about RJ. Is that okay?
See, I need. Hold on, I need RJ on here to ask these questions. He can't just type them in because I can't ask him in the same way.
Because it's not English.
It's just not conveying quick enough.
You don't speak. You don't speak gibberish.
Free the Tiger King. Rat Race hotel managers put 2M in train station. Remake the Mad Mad World. Seth Green, Whoopi Goldberg, John Cleese. I don't know if that's a marry, fuck, kill. I'm not sure.
What is it again?
You know what? Marry, fuck, kill. Seth Green, Whoopi Goldberg, John Cleese. What do you think?
Wow. I love John Cleese, so I would probably marry.
Easy to marry?
I love it. Not for nothing. Has anybody seen well, first of all, I love all Monty Python stuff. So
No.
Even people my age
It's
don't know a
too
lot
many
of Monty Python stuff is a lot
Classic.
older than
Classic.
me.
I think
Yeah,
Mel
they're
Brooks
not.
stuff was classic too.
Like Ryan, The Quest for the Holy Grail. But anyway, so I would marry John Cleese. Who are they? Whoopi and who?
Whoopi Goldberg and Seth Green.
Yeah, I think I would throw Whoopi a bang and kill Seth.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's
And apparently,
interesting.
Apparently, because I'm only being lesbian for sex.
apparently our FF kills are right online. So
I don't know. If anybody else has any more questions, make sure you get them in. We're almost at that time for final statements. I really do appreciate you guys coming out. You guys were two of the most sought after, talked about couple. Eric usually gets listed as ours.
I've seen Faulty Towers. It's not my favorite show. It's a British comedy show with
I've been watching a really good British comedy show called The Extras, which I've never seen before, but it's on Netflix right now.
The extras. Same thing. I've seen like a couple of episodes. I've never seen all of it.
It's pretty
I think
solid.
the extras was on HBO at one point.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I believe that was one of their shows.
I think Alan has really interesting questions.
Who has an interesting question?
Oh, Alan wrote before
Yeah.
that at one point in time in Staten Island, very early before we even started going out, that he said he thought that we were cute together and made like a
We are
good couple
cute.
or something like that.
We are cute, so that's what
So
it is.
apparently Alan
Thank you, Alan.
Called it.
Called it. Yeah.
Matchmaker nailed it. So
I got a lot of like. It's funny, like I didn't know how much people would ask us
anywhere or have sex
ask us about poker, but I obviously.
If you could have sex anywhere, where would it be? That's what
If I
RJ's
could have
question
sex
was.
anywhere, would it be?
anywhere.
Saucing. Your birthday's coming.
Oh, look at that.
I think I know where I would choose.
Where would it be?
Me and Lauren, I think the Devil's Pool, Victoria Falls.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would go with. Oh yeah, I would.
A waterfall?
100% a waterfall, right?
Waterfall.
100% a waterfall.
And that's the big. You're sitting at the top of it. That would be pretty crazy. I think that would be pretty dope.
If you don't know, Eric has that's like one of his travel things. There's two things: seeing a waterfall and collecting a piece of art. So he would 100% pick a waterfall.
Yeah. So every place that I've traveled to, I try to get a piece of art, whether it's like photography or like a local painter or something. That I keep as like I'm not huge into like souvenirs, but I think that's like kind of like a cool thing to take away from some places.
Do you know what I like to keep? I like to keep a rock from it. Like there's a unique rock. I have that piece of lava from when we were in Iceland.
I do too. I still have a piece of volcanic rock that we took from Iceland. Yeah, I actually didn't get a piece of artwork from there, but most of the other places I've been, I've always collected. I've always collected some type of artwork, whether photography or like hand painted.
I think that's smart.
Yeah, I think it's
even in the States
cool.
though, like if we go somewhere.
Traveling's probably like my favorite thing to do, and I've been to.
Me too.
A fair amount of places. I think I've been to like somewhere between 12, 15 countries, and I've been through probably about 20 to 22 of the 50 states, like that I've actually like stayed. I'm not talking like you drove through the place.
Yeah, I don't count drive-throughs either. You have to eat there or sleep there.
Yeah, you gotta have eaten there, stayed there, actually seen something. So yeah, somewhere between like 20, 22 of the 50 states. Yeah,
I can't show it right now because of my setup. Lauren got me one of those scratch-off maps. I think that's do you? Same thing.
Yeah. So 2021 is our 30-40 birthdays. So we are planning or hoping to do a big trip. So if anyone's in,
keep me in the loop. I'm trying to be the new Ansel Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, Slippy Bippy said we take very, very good, amazing pictures. So that's my new goal.
We wanted to do Spain and Portugal this year, but COVID. So.
A portrait wall. I'm trying to do like those mixed tiles, and I won't scratch off anything on that map until we have a picture of us in that place. That's the only way it gets scratched off. That's my goal.
So we have mixed tiles. That's actually where I have a lot of the pictures that I've taken where I've traveled. I printed them up on mixed tiles, They're not the greatest thing ever, but they're not bad. But Amanda can probably
Yeah.
show you.
Try and show you, and we are assembling a bar cart. So if you
Picture.
see any remnants of the
Yeah,
boxes,
I'm still in the
sorry.
middle of building a bar.
We understand. We're under
Hopefully,
construction.
you know,
And
trash everywhere.
Oh, I dig
How
it.
do
You got the thing in the middle, right? The scratch us thing.
Yeah.
So that whole,
Yeah, I know it's blurry.
So the middle is our scratch map of where we've been in the
Yeah.
world, and then pretty much every picture and the
Scratch
painting
map.
in the middle is all places that I've taken a picture of
Yeah.
of where I've been, or like a painting that and the one in the middle is a painting I bought.
That's awesome. I love that. That's exactly what we're doing in one of my rooms too. In the living room, dining room area. Like we're making one of the exact same concepts. I love it. That's
Yeah.
fun.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's important like go and see other places. You know.
And we have the favelas, but
Yeah.
obviously the Eric has and Brazilian, and we have the favelas behind us.
Behind me is a painting of.
Bernie
there was
wants
a couple.
Bernie wants to know
Adore.
what's your favorite DTTF venue.
Probably Amsterdam. Like,
Yeah.
I think it. I think we're frozen. Oh yeah, so that's the painting of the favelas in Rio.
That's a cool painting.
Yeah. So, whatchamacallit? So I think Amsterdam just has like
They got it.
Amsterdam has like that right vibe.
They got it, right?
know.
They got it. I agree.
They do. Like, it's hard to describe it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think vibe probably reminds me the most of like the CP Park East days, just because they get so many people and
That
it's
crowd,
like
it's vibrant.
that crowd and that big of a space. But I just like the atmosphere in Amsterdam. Like, I feel like, you know, like they just create it for whatever reason. Like, it's just a very good atmosphere. Like, it's a good place to go and play, but it's also a good place to go hang out and drink. Like, I like the food there is good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I just think it's a very good place.
When we were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I did like Liberty a lot
Liberty was
too.
fun.
Lou Koch wants to know who's your favorite well-known poker player, Eric, and outside of the league and real well-known poker players.
Probably Phil Galfond. That's like, and if people aren't watching, like he literally just, so he has his own poker website that he started, called Run It Once. So he used to run a training site, and then he decided that he wanted to get into an actual site where people could play like Poker Stars and whatever and compete. And so he started his own website. So to promote it, he did a challenge like they used to do back in the day on Full Tilt. So he put up the first guy that he played. He put up 200,000 euro versus the other guy's 100,000 euro. That he would be ahead over 25,000 hands. So on top of the money that they win from the cash games, they also have this extra 100,000 versus 200,000 euro bet. And he literally went down 900,000 euro in like less than 10,000 hands. And he was debating, like, he was very open about it, right? Like, he's a very analytical player, and he's a very like thoughtful. He thinks a lot about the game, and I think he's contributed a lot to poker in general. But he took, there was a stipulation in their contract that if you wanted to take days off, you had to pay a 3,000 euro penalty per day of every day that you took off. So he took off about a week. He paid the penalty, and as of today, he literally is almost back to even. Like, he won back 900,000 euro after being stuck that much to one guy playing heads up 2 tables. It's super cool. Like, especially if you're in Nepal and Omaha. I mean, heads up is obviously different than playing in like a table with a lot of people, but he streamed all his games. It's super interesting. He's definitely like the guy that I probably look at the most in terms of how they play and just their style of game. And
Yeah, I was following that on Joey Ingram was putting it up. But he's on a big comeback trail right now.
So Tom and I met Joey Ingram during one of the Bar Poker Opens. He was one of the commentators during one of the BPO events at the Borgata, and we became pretty cool with him. And he constantly streams, like he's he's probably one of the best personalities in terms of like investigative reporting, in terms of like reporting what's going on in the poker world, and super cool. So he's another guy that's definitely interesting to check out in terms of like poker information about what's going on in the poker community.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely probably one of the most informatives. He just won a poker award, the Media
Yeah,
Person of the Year award.
Yeah, he won a personality, he won like media person of the year or something like that.
RJ, why did RJ not come on as my co-host? He wants to know where's the best place you've traveled to, and where would you like to travel?
Individually or together?
He didn't say. So you will say individually, and then where would you like to travel to together?
So individually, for sure, I would say Italy. It just I was there for like 2 weeks. It was like the most diverse place I'd been to. There was just everywhere you went. I I like a lot of history, so and I like experiencing like local culture, and I feel like Italy had like a good example of both. Like you could go and see the Colosseum, and then you could go to like a small restaurant where they like made their own pasta and like hunted their own boar and like made you a meal out of it,
Yeah.
and I really loved. I probably didn't like Venice as much as everybody else loves Venice, but I loved Rome and I loved Florence. I thought Capri was gorgeous. So Italy is probably my favorite place I've ever been to.
So
That I
far.
wasn't so far that I wasn't with Amanda for. And then together, I would probably say Costa Rica, where we just went. It's probably my favorite trip that we went to together because
Really?
it just was awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. Like Costa Rica, if you love, like if you're really into like nature, but then also like want to be able to party and hang out at night, like Costa Rica is a really good place for it. There's a lot of like ex-American patriots that have retired and decided to live there. Uh, and they have both the Atlantic and the Pacific coast. They have probably more rainforests than any other place in like America as like one country. So you can kind of get a lot of everything. You can get a lot of nature. You can get a lot of like drinking and partying done. It's definitely a beautiful place.
Depending on when you go to the south, you were for the first part of the trip, we were to the south of Costa Rica. So you could go to Panama, which we did. If you stay towards the north, you can go to Nicaragua and do the there. So that I think Costa Rica got first. This was I finally got my passport for the first time this year, so this is my first time actually out of the country. So Costa Rica was obviously huge, and I don't know. I don't know if I had expectations going in, and I liked that we were going to a place where there would be minimal language barrier and that people were, that people had a lot of positive feedback. Like, how many people have you know that have been that are like it's a shitty time. I haven't met anybody. Everyone has a great time, so that was really positive.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Like before we went, like pretty much everyone I'd ever talked to that had been to Costa Rica told me that they loved it.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't heard one
Yeah.
person had like a bad time there. And I mean, you can, we did a trek up to like the volcano that's active in the area. We did their hanging bridges, which they're pretty
Known
popular
for.
for.
Yes.
We also
Did you zip line while you were there?
No, we did the waterfall that's like known for
Maybe Belize.
Fortuna, like one of the biggest waterfalls in the area. We took a tour. They're known for like their chocolate there that's made there. The cacao grows a lot in that area, so we took a tour of that, saw how cacao was made. Like she said, we took a trip over to Panama, visited a bunch of local islands. We went to Starfish Beach, which is a beach where a lot of starfish tend to like wash up on. So you can take some pictures and stuff with them. It was definitely like a really good trip.
We have a system, I feel like, for traveling. If anyone's interested, like we watch wherever. I think we both like Anthony Bourdain, and we always watch like where he went to eat, and then we each pick.
Try and knock it out.
Yeah, and then we each pick like our top place and make sure that's on the itinerary, and then kind of wherever our agreed upon place.
So probably one of the best meals I ever had traveling was because of a place that Anthony Bourdain went, which is always why I watch. Like if he has an episode of some place that I'm going to, I pretty much try to like look it up and either pull it up on Amazon or whatever. And so he went to Venice. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like Venice is made up of a bunch of different islands. It's not just Venice by itself. So there's Murano and Burano are the two biggest islands that are off the coast of Venice. And one of them is known for glass blowing. And the other one is there's a restaurant there that makes a risotto out of a local fish. It's called Go Risotto. And the fish's bones are very brittle. And what happens is if they cook it wrong, it ruins the whole risotto, right? So literally somebody goes in there at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning every day and sits there and stirs the pot slowly
And starts it,
on low heat to make this risotto so that the fish dissolves into it without ruining the whole sauce. And they make this dish out of it. So when I went there, Anthony Bourdain, like one of his episodes, he went there and he did a whole episode on it. So I was like, well, I'm definitely going to go eat there. And it's probably one of the best meals I've ever had internationally. Like it's very good.
Where's your favorite U.S.?
Oh, I mean,
I love Charleston.
Amanda's asking me questions now.
Amanda's not in the audience. You're not allowed to do that. You're answering questions, Amanda.
I've traveled to outside of the U.S., so I would say Charleston.
Well, like living close to New York makes you biased, right? Because New York kind of affords you like everything, right? Like almost anything you want to eat or see, you can probably see in New York. But New Orleans is probably my favorite place that I've ever been to.
That was our first trip.
Outside of, and that is the first. That's the first. So the first year we were together for Christmas, I bought Amanda a trip to New Orleans because I wanted her to see it, and it's like my favorite town to hang out in. Like I've never had a bad meal there. You could drink 24 hours a day. Like I mean, like I don't know what there is to dislike about New Orleans. Like I guess maybe the crime can be pretty bad there, but I've never experienced it, thankfully. But even outside of Bourbon Street, like everyone there, New Orleans is an interesting place. Like it's a mix of Creole, Spanish, and American culture, and most people there like know a lot about
everyone knows the history
of their town. Like it's one of the few places that they always talk about. Like one of the few places where like kids listen to the same music as their parents. It's just an awesome town. It's probably like my favorite place I've ever been to in the U.S. Like if you've never been, I would tell anyone to go to New Orleans. Like it's just
I liked it a lot. I want to do it again.
I've been there like probably I think 4 or 5 times now, and I love it there. Like it's an awesome place.
Yeah, I want to do that with Lauren. That's top of our list of one of the places we want to hit. I love the Grand Canyon. I love San Francisco.
We'll go.
Volunteer.
Yeah, we're with it. We are with it. Let's see. Let me check if we have anybody else because we're 2.5 hours in, guys. That's not so bad. Where would you like to go to? Yet good, Tim, Slippy Bippy. RJ's very active. I wish he would have gotten involved as my co-host tonight. We would have been good. People are now have
Where would you like to go? Where would you like to go?
What's up?
Where would we like to go?
Is that what he asked? Where we would like to go? Greece, Thailand, and Spain. Probably like my
time to book those flights, my friends. They are cheap.
Top 3. Probably Japan. Japan is my honorable mention.
Yeah, I think Asia for me would be Japan, and then second to that would be Thailand. I want to go to Greece, like to see France, and I would like to see Germany.
How long? Let me ask you this: how long before you want to start traveling again?
As soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So I don't know if people know, but like I work in the Halloween business, so like my season comes up in July, and I'm busy until November, and then depending if I do other pop-up stores for other businesses, like I've done pop-up stores for Harry and David and stuff, so that pushes me into January. So like, you know,
We don't get full travel.
if we can't go away for my birthday, which is like in May, June, then then I'm stuck waiting until like
Next year.
late January, February. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't mind because like January and February are like the months I don't want to be in Jersey for because the weather is horrible. So
Yeah.
like get away, even if it's for a week, like to not be in snow and shitty weather is great.
No, I totally hear that. I get the itch all the time. I want to travel constantly.
Amanda's never been to Brazil, so
Yeah. I want to meet his family. Obviously, there's a Iguaçu.
Well, I'm down to go check out Brazil with you guys. I don't know if I need to meet his family. You guys could go do the introduction and engagement.
So my both my mother and father are born in Brazil. My dad's family is from Portugal and then other parts. Apparently, Africa is one of them, according to my dad.
That's cool.
But my mom's side is 100% from Brazil, and I have a huge family there. Like it's impossible to know. Like I have like hundreds of cousins in Brazil. Like my grandma's one of 9.
Oh, wow.
And then just it grew. My mom's one of 6, and then my grandma's one of 9, and then the further back you grow, the more exponential it grows. Apparently,
Yeah.
no one had anything else to do, so they just had babies.
At one point,
So,
they have more workers.
Yeah, so I've been to Brazil since I was a kid. Like I think the first time I went to Brazil, I was like a year old, and the last time I went was a few years ago. But Amanda's never been, so it'd be cool to go back there and have her
Let us
meet.
know. That's super top of my list of places to hit.
I tried to hop on to my best friend's married to her husband. His dad was born in Poland. So I tried to hop onto that trip, but it was not successful. So my second attempt is to go to Tomas' wedding.
So Amanda found this app because Amanda's taking courses to learn Portuguese so she can better communicate with my family.
That's nice.
Yeah, but so besides the regular courses that she takes, she found this app called Duolingo.
Duolingo. Go download it.
And so she's obviously continuing with Portuguese there. And I decided to download it so I can learn Polish. So the next time I go to Amsterdam, I want to be able to freaking understand what the hell everyone's talking about.
Oh, that's smart. I got to get this Duolingo.
I'm trying to learn as much Polish as I can on that app. We'll see how it goes. It's not an easy language to pick up. Like I know English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian, but Polish is not one of the Latin languages, so it's kind of hard.
So it's a little it's way different.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. Oh, that'd be a good bet. Who could pick up a certain language or hold a conversation?
We tried to make that bet actually. It didn't work. I forgot what happened. It never worked out. But Amanda and I had made a bet one time that we wanted to see who could learn a language better before the other person, and then whoever lost had to buy the trip to go to Greece. We still might do that bet.
That's a cool bet.
Originally, a teacher who's unbiased who would grade us.
Originally we picked Russian. Yeah. But then like one of my uncles is Russian. So Amanda.
Total unfair advantage.
Like, I call bullshit on that.
Yeah, that is a bullshit unfair advantage for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. This was a fun one. This was not as crazy as most of them, but this was fun. Let me see if anybody has any questions before we go. He does have family in Brazil, unlike mine.
I do. Bernie, I have. So predominantly my mother's family lives in Brazil. One of my aunts, like I said, my mom's one of 6. So her and one of my aunts lives in Florida. And then her other sister and all 3 of her brothers all live in Brazil. And they all have 2+ children each. So yeah, my family in Brazil, even my immediate family in Brazil is pretty big. Yeah. And then, the further you go, it's huge. Like I remember the first time we went to Brazil, we went to Belém, where both my parents, where my dad was born and where my mom grew up, and it's like literally the hottest place I've ever been in my life. Yeah.
Like the equator.
So the equator is 0 degrees, and Belém is 1.14 or something like that. It's literally 1 degree south of the equator, so it's very
Oh, it's like
hot
dead
and
on it.
humid. Well,
Yeah.
very hot and humid. But one of the first times I went there, it was 42 degrees Celsius and 90% humidity. That's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Like if you can imagine how hot with 90% humidity, you can imagine how hot
Sounds
that is.
horrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely horrible.
I mean, you literally sweat standing still. Thankfully, it's very close to the rainforest, so it rains most days at like in the afternoon to give you like a break. Um, but so I remember going there very vividly as like a kid, and like we would just be like walking down the street to go to some place, and my mom would start talking to somebody, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's your cousin from so and so side of my family," and then we walk a little bit further and talk to somebody else, like, "Oh yeah, that's your other cousin from this and
The
this
other
place."
side. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my mom's side of the family in Brazil is really big, like really big. So yeah, it's
Slippy
interesting.
Slippy Bippy
And
said we might not have
Brazil's a
to.
very
We
so go
might
ahead.
not.
Sorry,
We
Tom.
might not. Oh, I'm sorry. Slippy Bippy said we might not have to delete too much from this interview. It's been lame. That's what he told us.
I'm sorry.
Guys
I'm
didn't ask so
I'm
many
sorry,
questions.
Alan. We didn't talk about
You guys didn't ask so many questions.
we did the
That-
MFKs
We answered all
as
the
much as
questions. We didn't
possible.
deny any
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
yeah.
I told the man too, like I wasn't going to answer anything.
questions. You guys have more than us.
But I did. I answered everything. I didn't think
Yeah. The only thing I might have to edit out is Amanda's Coke story. That might get popped out.
yeah, your Coke story was crazy.
Well, I just can't have
It's
that
better than my
recorded.
Coke story.
I just can't have it recorded in the
It
world.
wasn't crazy. She just doesn't want it
Well, I
going
don't think
up
I
when
told.
she has to work.
I don't think I told.
I
My,
just don't.
I don't think I
talk
told.
about what I do.
I don't think I
I'm not
told my
gonna
Coke
record it in
story.
the world.
So
You could tell your Coke story if you want, in case
Isn't
somebody
that-
does a deep dive. You don't want to. You
it
don't want
was.
this to
It
come
really
out
was
years
very
later.
interesting. I was at Arrow's pool party with a guy that used to work with me at AT&T, and and it's funny. I won't say that I don't think that I grew up. I mean, I grew up in Elizabeth, so I was pretty privy to a lot of stuff, but I still think I was kind of naive to some stuff. So my friend was like, "Hey, so do you party?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love to have a good time, right?" Like thinking that he's talking about just like going out party. I'm like, "Yeah, I love going out and and doing whatever." And he's like, "No, man." He's like, so he's trying to like feel me out, because he only really knows me from work. So he's like, do you do anything illegal? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I've shoplifted before, right? Like I think.
Story's a good story.
So I think that was my answer. So he's like, no, you fucking idiot. He's like, you want to do a bump? He's like, I got some coke. So I tried some in at the pool party at Harrah's, and it's just it was never my thing. To be honest, I almost even regret trying it once because it just was kind of stupid.
It
So
wasn't worth it. Yeah, I've never
it's
done it.
not
I've
my
never tried it.
thing. It's not my thing. Never been my thing, and so that's like
We're gonna
go-to.
get you some
That's
meth
how
and tigers.
it's interesting. Like growing up in Elizabeth, you think I wouldn't be that big of an idiot, but apparently I was still a little naive. And
Naive. You
stuff.
were just naive. That's not an idiot. That's just naive. I'm gonna give Russell Boyle one last question because he's been asking them. If you go back in time today to any event, current or past, where would you go? And where would you go? And year go back to historic event like to witness. I guess what historic event would you like to witness anywhere in time?
What would I go back to witness? I don't
Yeah.
know, man. That's a question.
That
Uh,
is.
Like
Oh,
I feel like the most interesting events in history are horrible, but like I wouldn't want to like be there for them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I don't want to see any of that shit.
You're not down to see the Inquisition or the
Yeah, no, they're interesting. They're like great history to read about, but I don't want to be there for them. So, yeah, I
Civil
don't know.
Civil War and such. Slippy
Oh, the
Bippy.
Constitution signings are interesting.
I want to hear like
It's true. You can get away with that. Slippy Bippy said tame. It was tame, not lame. Sorry, guys. He
That's
apologizes.
okay. We can be lame. It's all right. I don't mind being lame.
It's true. You guys can be
I'm pretty
lame.
comfortable with myself. It's fine.
I'll take the lame saying. I read it as lame instead of tame. Is that right?
I'm gonna keep drinking more bourbon if it makes you guys feel better.
I know we didn't get too crazy today. It wasn't too crazy. We're gonna have to have you back for a part 2 for an out of control one.
All right. Listen.
First of all, I nominate Carrie and Snook.
So this bottle was empty when I started.
Correct.
And,
You bought this yesterday.
We're halfway through. I mean, if it makes you guys feel better, I just have a pretty good tolerance.
You have a good tolerance, and you're a controlled drunk. And she has work tomorrow, so she hasn't been taking shots. She's been drinking Cabernet, sipping on her wine.
Glasses of wine. Maybe 3 of them.
You are so breaky. She really does do this in real life because Eric hasn't been breaky once, and it's constantly like,
What's crazy too is now that she's been working from home, she has to video chat people all day. So it makes you question how efficient this work is going.
right?
You know?
So crazy, so crazy.
I don't know if I can do this.
We do want to thank you guys for coming out with us and hanging out for the night with us. We appreciate you, and I think everybody else appreciates you. I'm just going to chop up that one little pot from you guys. That one little. Where am I from? Boston.
Chop that up too, apparently. That was
Yeah.
Freudian speech, buddy.
I would not mind. I have not smoked weed this whole quarantine, like everybody else has.
Eric.
Wow, what advice would I give?
Good question, Glenn.
Wow, that is a very good question.
Wait, what was his question?
What advice would Eric give to 18-year-old Eric?
So at 18 years old, I started working in cell phones. And at the time, cell phones weren't as popular as they were now, right? We're talking, I was born in 81, so that's like 1999. So in 1999, everyone didn't have a cell phone. Like they were just starting to get big. In fact, like I remember when Motorola like launched the first phone that like had a vibrating feature. I remember text messaging and free nights and
Razr.
weekends being like a new thing. Yeah, the Razr was like a few years after that. But anyway, so at the time, you could make a lot of money working in sales in cell phones. In fact, one of the reasons I left school and started working in phones was I was making a lot of money. Like my first November and December, I worked in cell phones. I made $20,000 in 2 months. Just
For a
selling
kid,
phones.
that's a lot, right?
Like I wasn't a manager. I was like out of high school. I was 18 change, and I would probably go back and tell myself to invest that money in something worthwhile, rather than doing what I did, and that was kind of like live like a rock star
Party.
for a while. Like,
Just got to go back and be like, buy Google.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, you make like 20 grand in 2 months. In 2 months, as an 18-year-old, you can imagine what I did with the money. Like, I just fucking went out and just did whatever I wanted. I mean, there literally was like, if I wanted to go party somewhere, if I had friends that couldn't come out because they were broke and weren't working, I told them to come because I would cover it. Like, I just went batshit crazy. Like, and that's probably what I would do. Like, I would go back and tell myself to invest in a business or something, and it probably would have been a smarter move. I mean, I wouldn't say it's tough to say that I would regret it because I had a lot of good times and had great times with some of my friends that also worked with me in the business. But yeah, in the long run, it's a stupid move, but at the time it was.
In the short run, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's true, but you made memories. That's the more important one. That is the more important thing. Let me see. I am trying to see if I have any other. Where did you even see that one from, Glenn? I didn't even see that. Invest in real estate, buying Amazon at $25 a share. Russell said. Apple buy
That's
it.
not a bad one, right? You imagine you bought Amazon at $25 a share for whatever the hell money you had at the time.
Yeah, why not? You definitely be in a good space.
What's the honeymoon game or whatever? I think we should like for questions.
You're still breaking on me.
Bernie asked if I keep in touch with my family overseas. I do. I mean, my parents more than I do. They always have phone calls with them, especially now that international calling isn't as expensive as it used to be. And then I keep in touch with like my cousin through like I used to use Facebook Messenger, but I've like deleted it because I found it annoying. But like I downloaded WhatsApp and stuff like that. That's
I
predominantly what I
don't
keep in
have
touch.
that, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it makes it. I mean, if you need
There's
to,
so many places to look
yeah,
to just pick
yeah,
one. WhatsApp seems great.
if you need to chat with people internationally, WhatsApp is like
Is the go-to. Yeah.
yeah,
The
that's usually
house party is a real big thing right now. Everybody's been telling me get on house party. I just
yeah.
downloaded it.
I used Zoom the other day for the first time. It was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I might mess with that. We'll see. We'll see if
wasn't
Zoom.
wasn't a huge fan of it, but it wasn't bad.
I don't like that there's like so many people. You don't see everybody. You have to like scroll. At least when I've used to scroll through the screen. I don't like that. I would like to see one little bubble.
I'm just reading all the comments. It's still flying in, which is amazing, right? We're almost 3 hours deep, and we're getting tons of comments still. Super interesting.
I mean, you can ask me whatever you want. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not. I actually thought there would be more poker. I actually thought there would be more poker questions.
You know what? I feel like people want to learn the other side of people on here. Because while we play poker, everybody plays poker. I think poker's a lot of an escape for people too.
Eric about poker hands more than I think I would have expected.
Yeah, I do get asked a lot of random questions about poker. It's pretty fun. Yeah,
They respect you. Everybody respects your opinion on it, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
They said everybody.
I've done pretty good. I would say that tough to know because I never tracked it when I was younger. So if I remove the bad beat, which is like 40,000, right? It's a lot of money. But if I remove the bad beat, I've probably won like 60,000 playing at the Borgata
It's a good
poker.
number.
Removing the bad beat pushes me at 100, which is what I would say that I've won overall playing at the Borgata. Like Hendon Mob, I think Hendon Mob tracks me at like just under 30,000. But when I first used to play at the Borgata, they didn't track a lot of stuff. Like I've been playing at the Borgata when their poker room used to be where the Black Card Lounge is now. It used to be
Yeah.
downstairs underneath where Premier is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that used to be the poker room. So you'd go there on a Saturday, and they maybe had 20 tables tops in that room, and
Yeah.
if you didn't get there early enough, you'd be waiting for hours to get a seat.
I remember that was miserable.
That was like my first introduction to playing poker, and then they built out bigger room that they have now. In fact, they built that whole wing of the casino didn't exist.
Yeah.
They built that out, and then I started playing there. And then for a while, like it used to be like the Wild West. Like you could win like $5,000 in a tournament, and they wouldn't ask you for shit. Like they wouldn't ask you for your social. They wouldn't ask you for anything. So you could win in a tournament and take home a fair amount of money and never have to declare it, which used to be amazing. Now, anything over 5,000
Yeah.
in a
5Gs are
tournament,
clocked.
and they report it. Yeah,
That's
yeah. It
kind of
used to be. It used to be great. So you used to be able to make a fair amount of money playing tournaments and stuff and never have to declare.
Glenn has a pretty solid question. What is your dream final table? Eric gets 5, Amanda gets 4. I guess from down to
So
the front.
I'm assuming bar league.
Yeah, I'm assuming bar league too.
So I would probably go with like I would have to go with like what's a mix.
Glenn feeling.
I would go with a mix of what's entertaining. Yeah, 100% Glenn has to deal, right? So I would probably pick Julian, Jody, and Juan because I think they would make it challenging for me. And then I would probably pick like
I picked the drinkers.
Ryan DInella and I think maybe RJ. because I would want to be entertained, right? Like it's the bar league, like you want to have fun. You're not
Agreed.
playing for anything crazy. So like you want to get the most you can. So those are probably my picks. So who are you picking?
I pick the drinkers. I want to have fun. And my like fun table would absolutely have to include Ryan and Kerry. I always have a good time.
Ryan's there already, but now you're adding Kerry. Go ahead. You get 3 more.
So
Ron's a good one.
So Ryan's on my list. So you got Kerry. Who else you pick? You got 3
Ryan
more.
and Kerry. I pick Anthony Rivera, 100%.
Okay.
Love Anthony Rivera. I picked another one.
You technically got to pick 2.
I like Alex because I never know what the hell he's gonna do.
Medina?
No. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell he's gonna do.
A good choice.
And he's a lot of
right.
fun with that. And he
right.
drinks and
He is.
good
He's
time.
fun.
So then you got to pick another because I picked Ryan.
Okay. Okay.
She's drawing a blank.
Stressful. I just blanked at everyone who plays the whole entire bar league.
He picks Lion J.
I was like Alan.
Alan Slippy Bippy Allen?
Yes, and I have a good time with
I
Alan.
think that would be pretty good.
Yes.
That'd be pretty entertaining too. Very nice.
Yeah.
I think Alan wins that table.
That's fun at that table.
With like a 2-7.
Yeah, fine. Whatever.
Heads up match between the two of you. How does it play out?
I win by luck.
Yeah, probably right. Oh, not for nothing. We did play heads up. We did play heads up at Central Park the second time around that they did it. We played heads up and Amanda won.
There you go.
So,
undefeated in the heads up matches so far.
Well, yeah, 1-0. So
I've always said she's the dominant poker player in that relationship.
I want to know something. I will concede that I won by luck, but I just want I want to be very clear that Eric would never let me win in 1,000 and 100 million years.
Never.
No,
I wouldn't let her
he doesn't let anybody win.
I wouldn't let her win at tic-tac-toe.
At dominoes.
Never.
Nope.
That's not me.
At limbo.
Not for nothing. Like I've always been.
Never let me win.
One of the things that kind of I guess attracts me to poker is like I like strategy games, right? Like I always have, and if I'm playing something, I'm playing to win. Like I don't care if we're playing fucking, and we're playing, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna play to win. So yeah.
Me too.
But she won. She definitely won.
I did win again.
100% she won.
Played it good.
That's definitely 100. Yeah, I don't think we've played against. We have. In fact, we usually don't even get seated next to each other very often.
We don't collude. I promise.
No, I don't think he would collude. I think he would want to take you out.
Because I feel like that he's assessing how I'm playing. I think I'm nervous.
I do. What was that? What do you think was the first poker tip I ever gave you?
Oh, 100%. I know exactly what it was. It was the first time that you and I directly spoke, or not directly spoke, but had a conversation. I was at a final table for my first final table.
Could I guess it? Wait to look at your cards.
No.
No? Oh,
no,
go ahead.
That's a good one. What was it?
It was at UB Social. I loved playing at UB Social. And it was to not wait to go all in when it's down to my last tip.
When you have too few chips. That's another very good tip.
Like you don't know what these people then won't know what you have. They think you're doing a last ditch effort if you're the blind.
Yeah.
And that was his move. That was how Eric first.
That's my move.
That's the move he made on you?
Super smooth. Just slide in there.
But I remember that, and I think about that.
Ever since it worked on Frank Zates, he does it with everybody he's interested in.
I definitely know what I think the second tip was. What do you think the second one was?
We all know what the second tip was.
Oh,
Eric.
Shit. Oh, dang it. What do you think this? Because I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and this goes to show you that she.
I think I know what it is. The 3-bet.
100%. It's a 3-bet. Nailed it. Look at that.
I pay attention.
Look at that. She pays attention. She just doesn't. She doesn't ever use it. But yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's another good bet because people underutilize it. Don't give away too much of your strategy on here.
I don't. It doesn't matter. Not for nothing.
I think in general, I like to.
I think I think there are enough people in the bar league that play kind of their own way no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
It almost doesn't matter. If I was playing against someone heads up for a long period of time, I probably wouldn't tell them what I was doing. But it's interesting. Like I think poker is like a game about adjusting, right? So I think that you need to, no matter what, like you can't just say this is the right play at the right time. You
It never
know,
is. There's no such thing. It's all
yeah,
situational.
you can't just say like I have this hand. This is always the right thing to do with this hand, like because it's not right. Because sometimes it makes sense if you're at a table that raises a lot to limp with aces under the gun, and then wait for someone to re-raise and then come over the top. And then a lot of tables, if everybody limps, it makes sense to make a big raise with aces and to reduce the field and get one or two people to call you, and see a flop with it. So like you can't just play poker in a vacuum. Like it doesn't work that way. Like everything is situational. So based on who you play, how they think you're playing, you know, like there's always like the mathematical aspect, right? Like which is what if you
Yeah.
if you go on like most poker sites, most people are talking about GTO, which is like game theory optimal, right? Which is like the best mathematic strategy for the moment, no matter what. But at the same time, like people are people, so you can't
Yeah.
just go, well, this guy is always going to do this at this time. Like your table image matters. How people think you play matters. So you definitely can exploit that and make different plays in different spots based on that,
Yeah, that's the
and
beauty of the game.
decides like what's advantageous
I
and
like
what's
to
not.
see more family heads up tables. Like I really enjoyed watching. I remember at Fantasy seeing Ryan DInella and Alex DInella play heads up, and I thought that was really interesting to watch. I would like to see like more family tables or like couple tables go heads up.
Play
I
verse
also
each other.
think Karen play heads up. I think that would be really interesting.
Oh, that would be
I
great.
think Karen would give in to Kerry. That's my
Oh,
guess.
interesting.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm,
Yeah,
I'm all right. I'm all right with that.
I
I'm
think
I'm
that
down to
I
try and
think
make some of that happen.
that's obviously one of the bigger dynamics of the poker league, that most people kind of like know each other, right?
Yeah.
So like somebody brought you into the league, so you definitely at least know one person, and then
Yeah.
and
Or
then
like Anthony,
and then
Karen,
and then
Kerry.
and then as you get to know other people and you develop different relationships, that kind of affects how you play also.
Yeah,
So yeah, it definitely makes for an interesting game.
I
I
would love
was.
to see Ed Net go
Uh,
heads up. I think that
oh
would be
yeah, that'd be
super
super
fun.
cool. I would definitely,
Super
Yeah,
I would
fun.
stay watch the whole final table.
we're definitely. I was hoping to announce it tonight, but we're definitely launching online with a couple of new sites, and I'm trying to negotiate not only the free rolls that we have that we can give away the points for, but I also want to have like a private locked cash game. So maybe I'll try and do that, and then we'll stream those private locked cash games. That might be cool.
I mean, I like I said, I've been playing on other sites like for a while now. I don't love
I
playing.
would love to see you and fun.
I don't love playing cash on.
Well, you know what I'll do? I'll do it where it's like $5. We'll play penny, 5 cent,
That's
10 cent, or
actually
something. Just something so we can watch how they play. And they have us. Everybody starts with $10. You can't rebuy, and we'll play it out and then stream it through, and then see what it turns into. And that might be fun from that end as well.
one that owned Havana. One that owned Havana sold it was like probably the person that knows the most about how I play poker. And he and I play dominoes a lot together.
Uh
Also,
huh.
like we have different games at his bar and stuff that we play dominoes as partners and stuff. And but he and I became friends because we played heads up together. We were at his bar when Mondays was at Havana after for a while whenever he was doing those tournaments there,
Yeah.
and he and I went heads up at a final table, and then he asked me if I wanted to shop, and I was like, well, don't you own the place? Like, why do you want to shop? He's like, well, I don't have to give away as much, so I get to keep whatever for the bar, and then you win what you win, and then I was like, okay, cool. So I decided to shop with him. And then after that, we hung out and drank, and then since then, like we've been like we're like super good friends. He's like one of my closest friends, and like
We love
yeah,
Juan.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
my dude.
Yeah. He's a good guy. 100%.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
he and I, like I said, he probably more than anyone has both played poker with me and like and then also knows like my ID, in
Strategy.
terms of stuff. Yeah, it's definitely him. Uh, he's like it's funny. He almost won that TOC, right? Like he went heads up with Alex, right?
Yeah. It was really close. Yeah, Bernie, the cash games would be you would need to be in Jersey, but I am going to get a free game on Staten Island. That's also private locked. That's what I'm working on. That's one of the things that's holding up our launch on these other sites. Sorry,
Yeah,
but yeah.
it sucks that New York hasn't legalized like
Oh, it's
online poker.
miserable. The sites that we're negotiating with now have no regard for New York. They'd rather me be in Pennsylvania because New York
Of course,
stalled out on them.
Jersey and Delaware were the first two, and then Nevada jumped on. And
And then some of the sites right now you could play interstate, right? I think
I don't
WSOP.
remember what I saw, but like there was literally a guy that just won a tournament on PokerStars for 1.5 million, and he literally got in with a satellite for 25 cents.
I know
So
I saw that.
he won a 25-cent satellite that got him into another tournament that got him his buy-in to the to the main to this event on PokerStars, and then he ended up. I mean, from what I hear, he played terribly and just luck boxed his way there.
Which
But
happens.
whatever, the guy ended up winning $1.5 million from 25 cents. Like I don't care what you say. Like how can you? That's amazing. Like
Yeah,
great, man. That's amazing. The best thing is one of the best things that can happen. Is like
exactly. Because it'll spark a fire in the other people that don't really play. Try to get it,
a
especially
quarter,
right now.
a quarter turning into 1.5 million is like the American dream, right? So you can't knock it. That's one of the reasons I love poker. Like poker is a big indicator of that. Like you
You
can
got a
turn
shot. You always got a shot.
shot, right? It doesn't matter. Like poker's weird, and not for nothing. And listening to your previous interview, who not for nothing, Tom. I have more tournament winnings than her, but whatever. Like I actually have more than double the amount of tournament cashes than she does. Not cashes, like total money earned. Um, but anyway, so like poker is one of the few games, like very few people would step onto a court with like LeBron James and be like, I think I could take you, you
Unless you're
know?
Ryan or
But
Alex DiNella.
yeah, but poker is one of those things where regardless of how good or bad you are, someone will step in with the guy that's considered the top of the game and be like, "Fuck it, I got a chance to take this guy.
You
Like I
do.
could win this thing." And that's what makes poker interesting. It's like there luck is like an equalizer, right? It's
Exactly.
like
It
no
levels a
matter
playing field.
yeah, it does. So like no matter and I do still think poker is a skill game, but I think luck
Over
makes it
time,
more.
I think
I do think
poker
luck
skill
makes
over
it more
time.
interesting. I do think luck makes it more interesting. Like it definitely makes the game more fun for everybody.
For
And,
him to come
and,
in, he's gonna go play online at Dunkin' Donuts in
He
Elizabeth.
will. He'll come across with Dunkin' Donuts.
nice.
I didn't work at Dunkin' Donuts in Elizabeth, so I respect that.
Slibby Bippy said Millionaire Mike. Millionaire Mike actually beat Daniel Negreanu. I got to get that video up. That's a good one for $1 million. That's how he became Millionaire Mike. What? When did I ever say I can take LeBron James? I'm not Ryan. I'm offended, Tom. Shaking my head. It's true. It's crazy. But I'm
Well,
sorry. Your
Alex,
brother thinks he can take.
Alex is my Heat fan. He definitely knows he can't take LeBron James, but
I know he's
I
too big of
think
a fan.
for 100%, I think that in sports, it never happens. But for some reason, because it's a thinking game, like poker and things like that, people feel like they have a better shot at it. So it makes it interesting. Like there wouldn't be the World Series of Poker, whether people know it or not. And if you've never read like Doyle Brunson's, I'm not talking about reading Super System because I think Super System might be a little bit outdated at this point,
It's
which is Doyle
antiquated. Yeah.
Brunson is his strategy book. But if you've never read his biography, I think his biography is very interesting. And one of the things that he talks about is the idea that they started the World Series of Poker to be able to get guys that weren't good at poker to come out and play in these tournaments so they could get them to come play in the cash games with them. And the whole idea of poker is based on, you know, good players taking on guys that are amateurs and seeing who comes out on top. And to be honest, because luck is a factor, you never know. Like you could be the worst guy in the world and sit down at a cash game, and walk out the winner because luck's on your
Yeah.
side.
I
So it
the
definitely.
book, The Professor, The Banker, The Suicide King, is a dope book. If you
Oh,
like
that's
poker,
an amazing book. That's an absolute amazing book. If no one, another book, if no one's ever read it, it's the story of how this Texas banker, Andy Beal, decided to go to Vegas and play heads up against literally the best poker players in the world. We're talking like Doyle Brunson, Todd Brunson, Phil Ivey, Jen Harmon, Daniel Granu, like
so
everybody
good.
who's like in poker, Ted Forrest, like everybody who's a name in poker, this guy decided to go and put up, he was a billionaire banker from Texas, and he decided that he wanted to take this challenge and play these guys heads up in poker in Vegas, and it made for some amazing games. Probably one of the
Yeah.
highest stakes games that's ever been played in the world.
And great stories,
And,
yeah. I think those
and
stories
he did
were
a lot of
incredible.
crazy shit, so he didn't want people to figure out any patterns when he raised. So he rigged like this like buzzer that he strapped to his ankle that would randomly go off every, let's say, 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and every time it buzzed his ankle, he would raise no matter what he had. And that was so that these other guys that were so good at figuring out patterns, which is really what poker players do, right? They figure out
Yeah.
like your betting patterns and your flop strategy and things like that. They recognize what you do consistently and take advantage of it. He wanted to randomize it, so he had a buzzer on his ankle that would make him raise no matter what he had, so no one could figure out what he had.
So
Yeah,
sick.
pretty crazy book. Yeah, super cool, super cool
Yeah.
story.
That was a good read. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up because we're over 3 hours. We appreciate everybody that hung on to the stream for this long, too. We appreciate you guys for coming out, one of our favorite couples in Down to the Felt. Thank you. Thank you both.
Hey, good
And
night.
do you have any parting words before we sign out?
Nothing. Just stay
Shots
home,
up.
stay home, stay safe.
Shots
that.
up. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands.
Face is a good one. I'm really bad at that.
Yeah.
You probably noticed during the cast, I touch my face all the time. Like I'm horrendous. Every time I go to the supermarket, I freak out. I like try to put my hands in my pocket.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not.
I can't. It
Yeah.
freaks me out, too. I'm the same way. I didn't realize I touched my face until I know I can't touch my face.
Yeah, I
It's
think
crazy.
I mean I would hope that by now most people that don't
Get it.
like obviously Ryan and Tim and guys that drive trucks and stuff
Can't.
they don't have a choice. Like I said, Amanda doesn't have a choice because of the halfway house and stuff. But like
Yeah,
if
they
you have a
have to
choice,
be out there.
stay home. It's
And do
not.
the best in what you can do. Wear gloves, wear a mask. Like the CDC has finally put out it's okay to wear a mask, and it's being suggested. Like
Yeah.
I know.
Just
So let's all stay safe out there, and I hope to see you again on this very soon. Maybe we'll do like a couple versus couple or something once we finally launch on this online suit. Have a great one, guys, and we will see you guys.
I'll make another bet for a season or something.
I'm down. We're definitely gonna make some bets. I'm with it. I'm so mad I didn't bet you on a weight loss bet. I dropped 50 pounds with